What can you do, thought Winston, against the lunatic who is more intelligent than yourself, who gives your arguments a fair hearing, and simply persists in his lunacy? A proper quote from George Orwell's 1984, which I feel sums up what we are in for today.
A book?
I wish.
We wish. What we're about to look at is admittedly something made by someone intelligent. However, you could argue that that person is very misled in their beliefs and regards for the film here and there.
I think it's all over.
I'll just say
Come
this.
on, Java, let's get to the point.
I'm not angry, but I am massively disappointed in Wonder Woman 1984. Yeah.
That was the movie. Let's go.
Yeah.
Well, it's okay. Java will handle the disappointment aspect. I will handle me and Sher will handle the mad aspect.
Let me just say this right now. Yeah. Okay, insert obvious. You were the chosen one. You were supposed to lead the DCU to greatness, not leave it in darkness stuff. Hell, you were supposed to be better than the Harley Quinn Birds of Prey film, but you ain't. Essentially, folks, this is one of the biggest, and I do mean one of the biggest superhero film disappointments, like, ever. Let me put it like this. This is a sequel to Wonder Woman 2017, which you may recall was regarded as one of the greatest superhero films of all time. It was the sign that the DCU was definitely getting better. It had a remarkable score, cast, and plot, all things together. Sure, it had some silly aspects, but it still remembered that at its heart it was a comic book film, and one that should properly act as such. And it helped springboard the way for better superhero films like Aquaman or Shazam. Hell, for as mixed as Justice League was, and I'm talking about the theatrical cut of Justice League, not the oncoming extended one. Don't know what that's going to turn out to be like. Even Justice League showed signs of the thing getting better and more lighthearted here and there. So, what about the sequel then? Well, let's be honest, unless you've been living under a rock, you probably have heard about how this film went from having a very positive and fresh Rotten Tomato score to not that, per se.
Yeah, it literally went from having 90-something to going rotten for a day, but then rose back up to slightly fresh. It was quite the roller coaster.
And there's very good reason for it. But you know what? Why not start where it all began? The beginning. So
yeah, for record, in case you're wondering why Deji may not join us.
So Deji, would you be joining us for our eventual commentary of this movie?
Fuck no.
There is a good reason, do not worry, but let's just start.
For now, let's start at the custom Warner Brothers logo in 3, 2, 1, click. So, Shiroi, I understand this is your first time on the 84 ride.
Yes, but I'm not.
You
I'm
can
not
get off.
going in,
sorry, the right
I'm not going in.
So,
I'm not
so
going in blind, though.
So in terms of the people,
That wasn't a pun, but I'll take it.
So in terms of the people involved, Patty Jenkins returns from the previous film to direct, but this time she co-wrote the story and screenplay.
I'm just gonna say this: I already missed Jason Fox.
Yeah, and bear in mind, he wrote Ice Age.
He actually gave a fox.
And bear in mind, he wrote Ice Age, Continental Drift, and Pan.
Jason Fox seems to be a guy who can write good or bad, like most other people, sure, but it seems to depend. And let's not forget, Pan was a script that he himself sort of walked out on, and it literally got put into a time capsule.
Yeah, I'm still wondering, Joe, if Alan Heinberg was truly the mastermind behind the first movie. Because
also, the thing is that there's the other person involved with the project Geoff Johns. You may have heard because for a while he did rein in the entire DC extended universe, but he decided to be an extra hand of helpfulness here. Here's the problem: if you have any experience with Geoff Johns, you know that he is probably the last person that should actually write anything about Wonder Woman. The guy just doesn't get her.
Let me put it like this: Geoff Johns.
What about Frank Miller?
What about Frank Miller?
Yeah.
Isn't he worse at writing Wonder Woman?
Not an excuse.
Debatable, but yeah, it is.
Ooh.
It is
Okay.
kind of it's quite the conundrum, Dwebs, I assure you, to
Let
decide
me-
which one is worse.
Let me put it like this regarding Jeff Johns. Jeff Johns is an amazingly talented writer here and there. He is definitely one of the most remarkable DC figureheads that we have had. He has given us a lot of great stuff here. And yes, he is responsible for not only getting DC Comics to realize that the New 52 was kind of a dumb idea, so enter in DC Rebirth, but he also did help the DC Cinematic Universe get better for the time being here and there. He is a guy who I could very well see being the Kevin Feige equivalent. That being said...
And look at that. The Snyders are still credited as producers on this movie. So who knows? Maybe even they can be blamed. Who knows?
Who knows, honestly. But yeah, Jeff Johns is a guy who I could see very much being in charge of the world as a whole. However, I should emphasize, for the world as a whole. When it comes to certain specific characters, he's not always the best. And there's one quirk of Jeff Johns that be like this, essentially. The man loves, and I do mean loves, to retcon the heck out of stuff. Now, granted, this isn't always bad. He has given us a lot of great revelations from it. But he is always a guy who likes to go super complicated or, put a extra spin on stuff to make it deeper and more nuanced.
He's the guy who revised the entire concept of the Green Lanterns and introduced the different Lantern Corps. So again, some retcons are not as bad. The problem is that when he handles Wonder Woman, he just thinks she's an arrogant, superpowered being that doesn't understand humans when it's far from it. But the point, to get back on the movie, speaking of retcons, this is a scene that happened, in the past when Diana was still a child. Obviously, we changed the child actor as a result. And it showcased that she had hubris because essentially she dared cheating, technically, in a competition.
Well, we're not there yet.
We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Basically, Shuri, these are the Amazons' equivalent to essentially the Olympics challenges, per se. And I'll say this, world-building-wise, it actually does look very interesting here and there. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. To say one positive, the one great thing this movie does have going for it, too much to do as a surprise, is Hans Zimmer's score.
As you might know, Hans Zimmer's scores for superhero movies recently have been either just bland or Amazing Spider-Man 2's music. Yeah. And that's not a compliment. Except the thing.
But for this movie, he actually delivers a really whimsical and really enjoyable score that really harkens back to John Williams' Superman score and how, proud to be whimsy it is,
Well, speaking of being enjoyable and whimsical, this opening act of the film actually just set the tone for, what the trailer suggested. Something that sort of harkens back to the 80s Superman tone of filmmaking. And you know what? That could actually be pretty refreshing here. That given a modern twist here and there.
Mm-hmm.
It sure would have made a great film, wouldn't it have, Pedro?
All right. We're 5 minutes in, and already I have a huge problem I want to point out. So allow me. Did you notice that, Shiroi, that this Olympic scene is probably taking quite a while? This already comes into the first major problem with this movie: the pacing. This movie drags. The scenes in this movie drag. This movie is 2 hours and a half. And it doesn't need to be.
No, absolutely not.
This movie could have easily been 2 hours and still tell the exact same story that it told.
2.5 hours.
Now I suppose one could argue that, this is kind of the only scene in Themyscira that we'll get for some reason. I guess Diana still can't return home, so we can't get any other scene from Themyscira. I guess.
Basically, Shiroi, however, some people might ask, okay, what's interesting, Shiroi? For this movie, Patty Jenkins was given complete creative control by Warner Brothers. She herself proudly claimed this in interviews, for the record. In fact, and I'm sending it to you right now on our chat, There's even a tweet where she specifically says, and I quote, "I felt extremely supported in my vision in both films by Warner Brothers, Zack Snyder, and all the producers and everyone involved." Blah, 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 blah. So she herself proudly says on her Twitter account that there was no studio interference whatsoever.
Now contrast this.
Sounds familiar, actually.
Now contrast this with Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, where that movie reportedly had a lot of executive meddling behind it, and yet people like that.
Go.
Yeah, and yet people like that movie more than this. Okay, I should probably explain something. Now, this movie is literally the reverse of me when I watched Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey. When I first watched Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, I absolutely hated that film. But I'll admit, with more time, I've grown to tolerate it more. Heck, even
look
enjoy
where you're
it.
going, you...
This movie shares the same problem I have with movies like Incredibles 2, Frozen 2, or Wreck-It Ralph 2. The more I look back at it, the more I am very disappointed with it, and I'm noticing new problems with each rewatch here. Speaking of problems, this scene. Well, it's not apparent yet, but we'll get to it eventually.
Also, there's the thing, Joe, like I said, it's similar because it's pretty much the same that happened when Tim Burton was given complete control by Warner Bros. For Batman Returns. So last time that happened, Batman killed people left and right. So what's happening for this one, when someone is given full control, you'll see.
Yeah.
Not just
Yep,
that.
we
Not just
will.
that. Not just that, but let me to finish my point. This is still going, by the way. As you know, and
This goes on for some time.
As you notice, Shiroi, Diana just fell off on her horse, and she just took that shortcut that's not meant to be used.
Actually, that's not the point. She did it, but without signaling, the checkpoint system. Again, the movie is pretty much telling if that she still did this, but she signaled the checkpoint, she would have been just fine.
Mm-hmm. But she cheated and didn't skipped one of the things she's supposed to hit with her bow, basically.
Oh, can someone remind me the speech? Well, you cheated not only yourself, the game, but yourself.
What we're about to get into in a moment anyway.
No.
No.
He's
The
talking about the
meme,
game,
Pedro,
one.
not the.
Do you know, Shiroi?
Unfortunately, I do.
Go on, Shiroi.
You cheated not only the game, but yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Oh, by the way, just want to let you know that we got Robin Wright back just for this part of the movie.
Thanks.
Okay.
Because, she's dead in the present.
How do you know?
Because her banner didn't go down proper.
How do you know? No, that's the thing. She only saw that the checkpoint was not marked. She doesn't know the fact that she might have took a shortcut.
It's like I said during the first time
Diana might have just missed or forgot. Sure, tell her that she has not finished the race, but tell him blatantly, "Oh no, you cheated, you went to a shortcut." Again, it sets up the tone, Shiroi, of the movie. Presumptuousness. This movie is chock full of it.
Great.
Tia, you remind me of what I said the first time Pedro showed this movie to me. God forbid somebody miss an arrow for any reason whatsoever.
Not just that. Not just
wait,
that,
hold on. Don't blink or you'll miss this important bit of foreshadowing. Basically, there's this warrior that they all look up to. Sort of like the Hercules of the Amazons. Yeah.
Astera, the Amazon goddess, yes. So there you go, Shiro. The moral of the story here is don't lie, don't cheat, be truthful. That's the basic gist of it.
Tell the truth.
And for some bewildering reason, Shiro, this is the point that I was trying to get at. For some bewildering reason, Patty Jenkins thought it was imperative for this one simple message that you can get out of a fortune cookie to be told to us in an 11-minute sequence. There you go. Yeah, see, look at the timer. This entire sequence lasted 11 minutes.
I am honestly just convinced that the main reason it lasted that long was because, hey, we were only getting one scene in Musketeers, so let's milk it for what we've got.
Not just that. Okay, see, here's the thing. That one major basic moral could have easily been told to us by just showing by just showing the leader of the Amazons reading little Diana a little book or something, some kind of story, and then at the end she tells, like, you could have easily done this in a 3-minute scene where she would tells her a basic fairy tale or something, or some bullcrap like that ends with that moral in. That way you could just establish the theme of the movie without lasting 11 freaking minutes.
Okay, can I address an issue with this movie now?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, Wonder Woman. I know you're trying to save lives, but half the time in this movie, your attempts to save lives nearly kills other lives.
But don't you see, Dwib, she's trying to be secretive about it so that she doesn't break continuity.
Oh, by kicking a car and nearly causing it to crash.
That brings up another question.
Oh, hey, Pedro.
Pedro Pascal. What is the Mandarin doing?
Mandalorian.
Sorry, what is the Mandalorian? Yeah, sorry. What is the Mandalorian doing in this movie?
Getting another paycheck, I guess. And yes, I want to refer as only Pedro Pascal because the character he's supposed to be is not. Simply.
We'll get to who he's supposed to be later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That brings up another question, though, Dwebs.
Hmm?
Allow me to remind everybody that despite the fact that Patty Jenkins said that this is... By the way, here's another thing that we haven't talked about. For the record, Joe, but you know what Patty Jenkins recently said?
What?
She said that this movie is not a sequel to the first movie.
Wait,
What?
I'm not even kidding. She literally said that.
What, is she implying that there's gonna be a movie set in between this movie and the first Wonder Woman movie?
I don't even understand. I think Patty genuinely lost her marbles. Like, to be honest with you.
That's the thing about Patty. I believe that she is capable of doing very good, but I think that this movie is just a sign that she really needs to have someone over her head. Okay, now, but that said, hark, we're about to get to one of the best parts of the movie.
Yeah, for the wrong reasons, because there's a thing. This particular sequence has no purpose whatsoever in the story.
Actually,
Well,
it kind of
it
because
does
the
have
artifact,
purpose.
one of the artifacts we're gonna get is tied to this
you're
robbery.
right. Yeah, you're right.
Oh my god, a gun!
Oh no, it's the Second
I
Amendment! Run away!
I think it shows the purpose.
What?
It shows that Wonder Woman, in her attempts to save others, has become a complete maniac who nearly gets others killed.
Well,
Yeah, here you go. Here you go, Jova. Now, so you're probably wondering, Jova, why is this movie so different in terms of tone compared to the first movie? Here's Patty Jenkins' response. I really like doing things for the first time, Jenkins shared. I think there's
oh
something
wait,
so
Pedro,
fresh...
hold on, I gotta stop you. We're about to get this wonderful scene.
Yeah, exactly. This scene is so over the top. Jesus.
It reminds me of that scene in Catwoman where the Ferris wheel is malfunctioning. A gajillion things are going wrong at the same time.
Wait for it.
Oh no!
How does this make you not go back?
No!
You're
Oh
not
no!
gonna take that
Anyway,
bit?
Okay, so, Shiroi, you remember how it turns out that there's been apparently no documented sighting of Wonder Woman according to BVS?
until BVS.
Yeah.
So sure.
For those, well, actually, allow me, Joe, because she hasn't seen that movie. In Batman v Superman, Wonder Woman specifically stated that she has been hiding away from humanity for, like, what was it, 100 years that she said?
Around.
Since, like,
yeah.
World War One, or, you know, that.
Yeah. So, what exactly is she doing here? Saving people right in the middle of everybody else?
This supposedly was, was actually supposedly an answer towards the people who were not keen on the idea of Wonder Woman essentially hiding for 70 plus years at the end of the first movie.
But guys, she destroyed the security cameras. No one will know she's there.
Aw, how whimsical. Okay, but no. Seriously though, this whole scene here actually does get the whole '80s mentality.
At least Diana is in character for this scene.
That's exactly it.
Oh.
Walter Amada is probably making sure they just ignore completely what Zack Snyder was doing with the first 2 movies.
I'll just say this though: there's a reason that scenes like these were probably some of the most marketed scenes of the movie.
Not just that. Here's a fun fact. Taking notice on how this scene is also taking its sweet time as well. Warner Brothers actually didn't obligate anything for the record because they promised they would give Patty full control, but they did express concern about this movie basically having 2 opening sequences. Because yeah, this could also have been the opening of the movie when you get right down to it. And they asked if Patty would be willing to at least cut one of them.
Dad. No, don't worry, they're fine. Totally.
Do you see what I mean about Wonder Woman being a complete maniac?
Yeah, basically.
And nobody reported on the fact that Wonder Woman was there.
See guys, that explains why Wonder Woman could get away with her saying she's not been around in 100 years. Because no one told her.
It's like in Spider-Man 2 after the train
Exactly.
scene. Everyone's like, careful.
No one
she's
was
a
alive
heroine.
to say.
Oh, okay. T. There's a reason that the Spider-Man 2 train scene works. One, that was like a much smaller group of people. And as far as
And it was like one occasion. The DC Extended Universe pretends that Diana has been getting away with this shit for 70 plus years.
Oh, by the
I
way,
don't believe that.
also showing her time over the years and whatnot here and there.
Yeah, this serves to
movie? Yeah.
This serves to establish a thing that I actually, at least
Also,
as a
yeah,
premise,
her-
I'm okay with it. The fact that Diana, despite despite everything, she's not really happy with her life.
They do also
because
show that her friends
the-
grow
the-
old while she doesn't.
Yeah,
as well.
essentially, it's the classic "who wants to live forever" trope. The idea that she has to see everyone around essentially with her and die, and the fact that she's still missing Steve.
Yeah, that's exactly it too. Yeah, trust me.
Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry, I sensed a growl there.
I'll leave it for a bit.
But,
Anyway.
okay, one more immediate thing I wanna add. He was a nice guy and all, Diana, but you knew him for like a week.
Yeah,
just
to
7
be
years
fair,
before.
okay, to be fair, he was like the first man she ever got to know, and I'd say like, well, for her, it did feel much longer here and there, especially seeing as how he was literally the one who showed her the outside world and told her everything. Like, I think about it like this. Imagine if you met, for instance, the first ever woman ever. Like, I think like that would leave like an impact on you if like you had only known men your whole life until this or that, and one thing leads to another.
I can understand that, but that doesn't. But you're telling me that Diana, in 70 years, still hasn't gotten over that?
I think the fact is that she really loved him, or maybe they're just saying that only the Batman was able to finally get her to love someone else. Because guess what, Roy? Diana has a thing with Bruce Wayne in the DC Cinematic Universe, so
Still a better idea than her getting with Superman, as comic book writers love to do, I guess.
Okay, look, I'll just say this. Diana x Bruce has always been my preferred ship, honestly. Granted, I have a DC animated universe to thank for selling me on that, but yeah.
Hey, Shira, guess who's in this movie? One of the bridesmaids herself, Kristen Wiig.
Fresh out of Ghostbusters 2016. But you know what? To be fair, Kristen Wiig is a very good actress here and there.
And she's like my favorite role of Kristen Wiig is her role as Lola Bunny. In one of the Looney Tunes shows. That's like the one big thing I love about that show.
Hey
Also,
guys!
just before that, Pedro mentioned a much better movie, so
I've got a question for you guys. Hey guys, did you like Electro from Amazing Spider-Man 2?
Nope.
Well, too bad. You're getting almost the exact same origin story here.
Okay.
Brilliant.
So, a complete nerd who's hated by everybody, and you can tell she's a nerd because she's got big glasses and can barely walk around. Is clumsy, and the only person she really likes or who likes her is the main hero of the movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
Oh!
it's like I said before,
Wait, hold on.
I
Wait, guys.
like.
I have to point this out. She noticed how Diana was wearing cheetah animal print shoes. Remember that, because, well...
That's the problem, Joe, but that's one of the things that they say. They're mostly focusing on the fact that she is a geologist.
She's also a zoologist, but go on, Dweebs.
Okay, just to finish. Okay, now, as a guilty pleasure, so bad it's a good movie, I kind of enjoy Amazing Spider-Man 2. But that's the thing. It's a guilty pleasure. Shut up.
Siri did it again, didn't she?
Tell her to go to bed.
You know, Dweebs, you could just turn it off. Just saying.
Anyway, before I was so rudely interrupted by my technology. I said I meant to highlight Amazing Spider-Man 2 as a guilty pleasure, not as a movie. I.e., that's not a movie you should be taking inspiration from.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna admit, there are an alarming amount of similarities between this and Amazing Spider-Man 2, and God, I can't believe I'm saying this. This might actually be a worse superhero movie than the worst live-action Spider-Man movie that there is.
In the meantime, I'll also, to finish my point from earlier, basically, the Warner Brothers asked Patty Jenkins to, at the very least, cut one of those two opening sequences we already saw, but of course Patty wasn't having any of it because she really liked those two openings. Anyway, to also continue what I was saying about, Patty Jenkins saying that this movie is, quote-unquote, not a sequel to the first movie. Right here. She insists that this wasn't a sequel to the 2017 movie. She says, and I quote, "I really like doing things for the first time," she shares. "I think there's something so fresh about discovery and so electric about not knowing how exactly to do something. So it was clear to me that when we were finishing the first film, I said, we're never doing more of this, right? We know how to do this now. I never wanted my crew and all of us to subconsciously be like, listen, I know how to do it. We went through this before. So I made this big deal to everybody, and I ended up carrying in the press, and I was saying it wasn't a sequel. I kept saying that, but it was for a different reason. I kept saying, this isn't the sequel, you guys. We're making a brand new film. I have grabbed all this artwork that influenced blah, 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 blah. So basically, she says that, but I don't know what she says here. But Wonder Woman is the same person. Steve is the same person, she added. So it's definitely that.
No, it's not.
But I thought it was such a journey to create Wonder Woman in the first film that what I wanted to do this time was make a Wonder Woman movie, totally different. Basically, her argument makes no goddamn sense. That's the basic gist of it.
She's saying she made an AU.
I get what she might mean, the idea that this is not a sequel in a sense, but it has a complete different tone from the first movie. So, mission accomplished on that front. It's still worded poorly. And it reeks about damage containment.
Oh, God, this scene. Okay, basically, this is essentially a wishing stone here. But you saw right there, folks, Diana technically never made her wish.
Well, take it away from her now.
The way the movie does it, Jova, is that, she just talking about, wouldn't it be so awesome if you could wish for your best, your thing you want most, and then she closes her eyes. I do know what I would wish for. So basically, she's imagining in her mind what the wish is. So I'm guessing that counts.
That's the thing.
Never mind the fact that no other wish gets, actually granted this way for the entire rest of the movie.
That's pretty much my point. Literally, every other time we've seen it, it has, and I do mean, has to be spoken because it takes the literal speech of what someone says here. So why it's acting like this...
Of lames, this dialogue. Ugh.
Okay, I will say this though. This initial idea of minor chemistry that Diana is, going through with Barbara, the idea of, her trying to be the friend that she needs in this moment, I like it. It is also in character for Diana, wanting to, bring a bit of joy in life into a joy in the life of this person that she sees clearly that she's not happy. So,
also, guys, watch.
And by proxy, she thinks that it would help herself on that front.
Also, guys, the watch started ticking. That means something, I think?
Well, obviously, we know what it means because we saw the trailers.
That's what it means.
Okay. But here's the thing. Even knowing what it means, why is it that the watch is supposed to just tick? I have no idea what that has to do with the wish.
It's there just for the audience to know.
to show that something
those are the
magical
best.
is happening.
Those are the best elements. So the one that makes no sense for the universe for the movie, but they're there just so the audience can see. Oh, I get it. Especially the dumb one.
So Shiroi, what are your thoughts so far?
So far.
I know the bad parts are still coming, but so far it's very inoffensive compared to what we're gonna get.
And like I said, this initial chemistry between Diana and Barbara, I really dig. I wish more of the movie was like this, and eventually her turning into Cheetah would have made much more of an impact. Because it breaks the thing that we're trying to have.
Also, is it just me, or has Gal Gadot's acting kind of regressed?
Well, I like to take you from that, Vibbs. I really am not seeing it. Like much like with the other protagonists in the previous DC Extended Universe movies, I can still say that Gal Gadot is the Wonder Woman that I wish will never, that Warner Bros. Will never change for this role.
I can see what Dwibs means, though. Gal Gadot is trying to play up Diana as more subdued here and there, and you know what? I get it, It's supposed to be her being warm on with everything. But there are some scenes where she comes off as just, well, dull in the head.
Bastard, yay!
I get the feeling, Dribs, that she herself knows that this script is nowhere near as good as the last one.
So Shira...
Well, Gal, she was a producer. Maybe she could
also.
Barbara
she has a friend that is this bum, but Barbara has this habit of going back home through this park in Washington DC in the middle of the night. I'm sure nothing wrong can happen with this.
No.
Of course not. What is up with American parks and movies and people constantly being assaulted?
Like at this point, I don't know if it actually happens or so, but because again, I'm not American, big shock.
Oh.
But I do wonder if cities to actually start putting actual, police patrol in the parks or something.
And
It
yes,
is a bit weird that a park like Washington D.C. wouldn't have security going through it.
On the risk of repeating myself from a couple days ago, I'm gonna have to say this again. Aside from Steve, every man in this movie is a creep.
Well, okay, to be fair, Pedro, the bum is fine.
Well, okay, that's right. That's true.
But that's going from one extreme. But that's the thing.
Steve.
That's going from one extreme to the other. When we're not creepy rapists, we're the absolute paragon of saintness.
Yeah, true. No shades of gray. Only black and white.
Aside from 50.
Only black and white, Teo. No shades of gray.
That's the best kind of writing.
Yes.
Honestly, that's kind of the thing. I feel like everyone... Okay, there's a certain point in this movie where everyone becomes a dick for no good reason. Also, I feel like that Lynx is supposed to be some foreshadowing for... Okay, sure. You probably know who Barbara ends up becoming, right? You're familiar, right?
Hmm.
You know that Barbara Minerva becomes the cheater. Barbara Minerva in the comics is essentially the third, and quite possibly the most recognized version of Cheetah, essentially. That said, I feel like they were trying to avert the whole, it's obvious that she becomes the Cheetah thing, because I swear to God, the foreshadowing to her becoming the Cheetah is, very minute.
Okay, the way... Okay, another issue I've got is sometimes the way these wishes are worded, you think one thing would happen, but it doesn't.
I wish I could be as sexy and cool as Diana is, she says.
Also, in case you're wondering, Shira, yes, there's shipping between these two.
Not just that, and she sure saw Bridesmaids, so I don't even have to explain this to her. Kristen Wiig is a perfectly beautiful woman. So this idea
glasses, guys, glasses, and she can't walk in high heels.
Not just that, glasses and ruffled haircut. That means she's not really.
You're implying.
So apparently
it's the she's all that thing, basically.
Yeah. Basically, we've learned nothing since 1999.
What are you about to say, Shirley?
You finished, Pedro?
Well, I kind of was finished, but basically the idea is that yes, we're doing the whole it's kind of like in She's All That, and again, not another teen movie, did the perfect parody of this. Okay, makeover, but you're gonna have to trust me, okay? And then the music builds up. She takes off her glasses, takes off the pin on her hair. There you go. That's it.
Anyway,
And that's really it. It's just like we're literally okay, Patty. Guess what? Yes, the '80s were kind of a cool time in media-wise. They were, but we're past that. Okay, honey. Can we,
Look,
you know?
And look,
Go ahead.
here's the thing, all right? Glasses and the way you do your head does actually frame your face a little different. Not different enough for somebody to not know who you are, though.
No, sorry, Shiro. It's from 1 to the other. It's an on and off
Oh,
switch.
this thing.
Oh,
Yeah, the
I
movie also has
refuse.
this thing. The movie also has this thing of the heels thing. Basically, in the same way that Diana looks good, moves well in heels. Now, because of her wish, Barbara moves well in heels, and I don't understand this. First, never mind the fact that I will never understand the appeal of heel shoes. That looks incredibly painful to wear. I don't understand. I mean, supposedly it looks pretty, but I don't know. I just think
It's also, well, Pedro, practical reason. What do heels do?
okay. There are other ways of achieving that, though.
No, I know that, but that's basically it. Sometimes they're used just to raise the height a bit.
I get
pretty much.
They're
but
also
there are shoes that have longer, higher bottoms.
Oh, those are
No,
platform
the thing-
shoes, but they tend to be a
Platforms,
bit
yeah.
more gaudy.
Yeah, so the heels are the sleek design of heels are supposed to give a semblance of elegance.
Okay,
That-
obviously I've never worn one of these shoes, but aren't they painful to use?
Not all. Well, okay.
no, they are, and that's why
Jova?
women who.
Jova, I'll take Shiro's opinion over yours, just saying.
No, listen, Pedro. The thing is, I don't wear them. I prefer platforms. The women who do wear heels carry a pair of flats in their bag. It's not worth it.
Pretty
I know,
much.
no, sure. That's exactly the thing, Shira. I'm not even kidding you, Shira. If Vanessa showed up to me in heels and she asked if she looks good with them,
Please don't do this yourself.
my response would be, what the fuck are you wearing? That looks painful. Just take those off, woman.
Okay. As someone who has worn high heels, it does take a lot of getting used to.
Okay, Jova, I'm not gonna ask the context. Sorry.
Hey, guys could wear heels too. Lighten up.
You are aware that theater acting is a thing, right? And
Pretty
and
much,
men
yeah.
have to dress like
I
women
actually
because
didn't know that Jova practiced that. Sorry.
Wait, you didn't
Also,
know?
if guys
Yeah, I
want to
am
wear
in theater.
heels, they can wear heels, right?
Look at the Pythons, Teo. They dress like women in plenty of their skits.
Oh yeah, plenty of times.
We also have a group similar to that in my
Look,
country. No,
okay,
but
look.
whatever.
I'll just say
whatever,
it like this. I'll just say it like this, Steele. I've had to warn all females articles for theater here and there, so I do get
Story
what quite a
never
few of them
happened.
feel like.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Also, let's talk about instead the introduction of this character. Why not?
Go on,
This is
Theo.
what the movie passes for being Maxwell Lord.
Okay.
And I have to say,
I don't know who that is.
more like, let me put it more like, in light of these events, fuck. Because this is not Maxwell Lord. This is if Saul Goodman and Grunkle Stan fused together and lost all the charm.
Okay.
Let me put it this way, Shirai. This is the Mandarin of the DCU, basically.
Okay.
Let me put it this way, Shirai. In the comic, Maxwell Lord is a guy with has a very cold appearance, and an extremely high intellect that he uses to help the Justice League with their plans. And he has a minor power that can kind of push people into doing what he wants. It's borderline mind control, but in a more subtle way. He says, well, don't you think that would be the right idea to do? And it feels good for them. But at first, he was never a bad guy. He was actually a supporting character. Then Geoff Johns arrived on the table and transformed into an outright dickhead villain that was intent to use his intellect to take over the world. This Saul Goodman, this Maxwell Lord, quote unquote, is a con artist on the verge of bankruptcy and is basically a buffoon. He doesn't know how to swindle people. He's barely intelligent. The only thing that I positive quality on that front, not positive, but thing that he can manage to work on his favor is that he can recognize an occasion where it's present and he can take it. But that's literally it. This is not Maxwell Lord. Sorry.
Okay. Let me put it like this. This character, if it were named anything else, he would be perfectly fine, because he actually is a relatively shrewd villain here and there. That said, this is yet again on the long train of thought that I really do have to ask, when did Max Lord become a Wonder Woman villain?
The other, not to mention, I mentioned this also in the recap we did with Deji. I only saw one trailer of the movie, and Maxwell was not present in it.
Oh,
they
yeah,
only
okay.
told me that Cheetah was supposed to be the villain.
Does Wonder Woman have a main villain associated?
Cheetah.
Cheetah is supposed to be the Joker equivalent.
And if you're wondering who's, like, her second biggest villain, well, Giganta,
Cersei.
ironically.
Yeah, they've already used them all, so they're going to have to get new ones.
They haven't used Giganta yet.
Or Cersei.
Or...
Well, that was... Oh, no, wait, that was the other guy in the...
Not even just that, Shiroi. Look at the overall look of this version of Maxwell Lord. Doesn't he remind you of someone?
I'll give you a hint, Shiro. The color orange.
And trust me, I'm not making anything up. The movie will make it clear in due time.
It has the subtlety of a brick. Like it's pretty much clear anyway.
I know, Theo, but we're not there yet.
But
so...
the point still is the fact that but that's okay. It's not like the person who actually gave the retcons about Maxwell Lord is present in the making of this movie. Oh wait.
So here's the weird
Suddenly
thing.
this makes much more sense.
That's the thing, though, Theo. Jeff Johns was the one who changed Max Lord to be more cold and calculating, yet...
No, he was still cold and calculative, but... he only changed it to be a villain rather than an actual helpful figure. This Maxwell Lord, I can tell you, is not a good person at all. He's not even, lawful in that kind of way. Like I said, he's one that takes advantage of other people only for his own profit and will hesitate at no point to bash on other people to do that.
Well, I guess one would argue how much Max Lord in the comics was doing it for others, or how he just wanted to be in control here and there. But yeah,
that's still the point, Jova. The comics before Geoff Johns took over on that front, the comics made it a fucking point to tell directly to the audience that Maxwell Lord was not a villain by having the Martian Manhunter, recognizing his brain patterns and confirming that. But then Geoff Johns was like, nope, I guess John was just mistaken.
Okay, so there have been a lot of mixed feelings about that point in time here. A lot of people do call it out for being a very weird retcon, but some people have also raised good points that, well, like Infinite Crisis itself, Max Lord becoming a villain was something that did lead to interesting avenues. Paramount among those being how superheroing became a lot more morally gray here and there. Essentially what happens is that Max Lord took control of Superman's mind and was going to have Superman pretty much become a killing machine, unless he was stopped. Which Wonder Woman had to do by
and the only way to stop
neck.
him was snapping his neck in front of television, thanks to events that were happening around the same time.
Now that being said, it works there because it did show that Diana is willing to do what it needs to be done.
I don't mind that. I
don't
mind the fact that Diana had to kill someone. It's just the fact that the way it was presented, it just doesn't feel right.
Here's my biggest gripe with it, though. Ever since then, apparently DC have decided that Max Lord is a Wonder Woman.
An iconic Wonder Woman villain. Every time he has been resurrected, because comic books, he always had a grudge against Wonder Woman and wanted to ruin her life.
So, Tio, question.
That's called Flanderization.
So, Tio, question. Would you have rather that they at the very least had tried to adapt Max Lord so that he was more like how he was, post-Infinite Crisis, like a guy who was definitely sick in the head but was technically doing stuff for it? Or would you have rather that they
The only way I would have accepted would have been pre-Infinite Crisis. Support an actual supporting figure. Sure, you can have a long way to get to that, Sorry for was to get to that.
Let me try and bring this back
why
to the
not?
movie, though. Okay. To recap, basically, Shiroi, the primary thing with not Maxwell Lord here is that he's a conman, as you see, and he really wants to make his son proud, because even though, as you can see, he's kind of a loser...
He has a son, so it's completely relatable, don't you know?
Of course. And he tries his best not to let his son realize this, that he's a loser, because he really wants his son to be proud of him, and that's the basic thing with him. As for Barbara here, see, again, this is literally the she's all that thing. She took off her glasses, and now mysteriously she's super hot.
I just realized it's sort of a souped-up version of Michelle Pfeiffer in Batman Returns, only with Michelle Pfeiffer's transformation, let's call it. That one was a lot more subtle and nuanced, and it was way more than just she took off the glasses.
In the meantime,
What about Halle Berry, Jova?
Oh, Halle Berry's.
She instantly gives herself a haircut with 2 scissors.
And she spouts cat puns.
To be honest, this first act, this is pretty much the only really noticeably 80s thing you get in this movie.
Yeah, there's not much 80s. Hans Zimmer puts a couple of songs in the score, but that's it. But to be fair, I'd rather have that over what Suicide Squad did with its slasher songs.
I think it does beg the question, why is this movie called Wonder Woman 1984?
That's the thing, Jova. I don't even know, but that's the thing.
I can tell you it's not actually based on a DC storyline.
Because there were 1,983 movies that this film skipped.
I should point out. I should point out to you that when it comes to licensed songs in movies, the score composer is never in charge of those kinds of decisions. Very rarely. It's more the audio director or audio supervisor that usually has that kind of role. The composer just composes orchestral score.
Hey,
okay,
guys.
He doesn't do anything past that.
Hey guys, I know that we're 42 minutes into the movie, but is it just me or has not much happened plot-wise?
Not just
No,
that.
you're right.
You paid attention. If you paid attention here, you notice that Diana has received a lot of catcalling until this point. Keep that in mind.
Men have said hi to her or want to maybe take her out on a date.
Let me just ask this again, because Shira, and then I'll go around to answer me. Shira, question: does not Maxwell Lord here remind you of someone in particular? You don't have to answer right now. Just
no, not really.
Not really. Okay, well, don't worry. It will become obvious later, as Teo foreshadowed.
Mm-hmm.
Also, too, it's funny you mentioned preferring Maxwell Lord pre-crisis, because, well, the ending of this movie might have something in store for you.
Ugh.
Oh, God.
Anyway, so
oh,
yeah,
guys, look, an old computer. Just to remind you that it's the 80s.
This is another thing. How the hell did Maxwell Lord even get knowledge of the stone to begin with?
Okay.
He had a bunch of magazines. If I recall correctly, he had a catalog of the museum, and remember he visited there before for one of his affairs.
I actually have a theory, and some people have raised this theory too, that Barbara's wish is what caused him to figure out about it, seeing as how, technically, after she makes her wish, that's when he comes in apparently looking for her in particular. And since, people now know her name, some people argue that it's because of Barbara's wish that he figures out about the stone, and one thing leads to another.
There you go, and now he steals the wishing stone. Yes, Shiroi, this is a stone that grants you all wishes, and that's it. It's literally, they might as well call it the plot MacGuffin.
Oh,
and also Sheer, yes, Maxwell Lord essentially tricked Barbara into having sex with him just so he could get the stone.
The way he was.
What a great.
Okay, to be fair to
No. I will grant that. Remember, he's a dick anyway, so I can see him doing that.
No, that's not what I mean.
Oh no, it's now.
Hold on, one at a time.
Yeah, can we not?
The way he was holding that stone, it looked like he was about to stab her with it.
Anyway, what were you about to say, Pedro?
To be fair, Teo, the movie, as far as we know, he was just making out with her.
And here we go.
What? Yeah, oh my god, so yeah, in a way, Maxwell Lord may have had the moral high ground on a certain
Hey, Shiroi, you know who this person is?
Unfortunately, I think I do.
No. This person is called Handsome Man.
I'm not kidding. In the credits, he's just called Handsome Man.
The movie refers him completely as Handsome Man. He doesn't have a name. This is not a person. This is just a handsome man.
Okay.
Wow, it makes it all that much worse.
I'm sorry. Did we just? I'm sorry. Who made the actual casting name? One of the people behind SpongeBob. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm just gonna say this right now. This is
What?
okay. Let me just point out one of the biggest running problems with this movie. This movie likes to overcomplicate the fudge out of things that it doesn't need to.
Yeah.
You literally
Yeah.
have something that is magic, and you choose to overcomplicate this.
But
Essentially,
one step at a time, Jova, because again, the big question that everyone had when the trailers released, how is exactly Steve back? We have a partial answer now. The stone did it, but how?
well, the way it did it, Shiroi, was that it brought Steve back, but in a different man's body.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
And yeah, in terms of overcomplicating stuff, we'll get to that in a few minutes, actually.
Now,
Basically, Shiroi, it's not so much. You might be wondering, wait a minute, then why? How come he just looks like Steve did in the first movie? That's the thing, Shiroi. I don't understand, and the movie's gonna make this clear in a few minutes. He still looks like handsome man. It's just for some reason we, the audience watching the movie, just watch him as Steve.
I get the idea that it's the way Diana sees him, because again, the wish was hers, so she...
Yeah, I mean, to us, the audience, he still looks like Chris Pine.
But it's like what Jova said, the movie overcomplicates this for no reason. This could have easily just be Steve in his own, like, a body magically constructed by air. Hell, you want to go for the equivalent exchange of Full Metal Alchemist, have a bunch of particles for me, because yes, a human body is just a bunch of particles when you get down to it. So I want to be as pedantic as I can to avoid what the movie wants to do.
And believe it or not, Troy, the movie could have done something with Steve being in a different man's body here, because, well, I'm getting a bit ahead of myself, but there is a cost to, making a wish on that stone. That said, I will let you know right here and there, him being in another man's body is apparently not the cost. No. They go the obvious route with the cost, but it would have been a lot better if it turned out that the cost was that they're using another man's body.
Well, to be fair, we haven't gotten to establish the monkey's paw thing yet, but sure.
Well, that's why I said I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. But I mean, I guess it should kind of be obvious that, of course, thered be a price.
Just to enhance Kilo quick, because I don't think Taylor heard me. That's the thing, Taylor. Remember, technically, the movie never established that not Maxwell Lord had sex with Barbara. He just made out with her and stole the stone in the meantime. We never actually see any actual proper evidence that he had sex with her. For all we know, he was just a making out.
Considering what the rest of the movie does, would you be really surprised?
I wouldn't, Tail, but I will not accuse the movie of something without evidence.
It's not accusing, it's just potentially filling the gaps.
The implications are...
So here's essentially what happened. Steve just woke up in this guy's body, and he's discerned stuff about this guy's life. So, yes, Diana does in fact know that the man Steve is infiltrating has a life and everything. Heck, for all she knows, he has a family, might have a girlfriend, might have kids.
Yeah, this isn't just a random body they conjured up. This is somebody's actual body.
It's okay, Jova, because conveniently, this body is the one of someone who literally has no life. Sure, it might have a job, but he apparently has no loved one, no parents or something like. But the relatives that he can visit or something.
That's the thing, Tail. The movie never actually properly makes sure that we know that he has no family or anything. So for all we know, he does.
I mean, he's a flipping engineer. Somebody's gonna have to miss him eventually.
There you go. See, Shiroi? See? He still looks like that.
Jim Carrey?
No, Jova. That's no.
No.
He looks too fat to be Jim Carrey,
Jova. No, seriously though. Check out movies like Peggy Sue. He looks like a much younger Jim Carrey.
No, I don't see it. The point is,
Jim Carrey in the 80s specifically.
Anyway, he looks like that, Shiroi. It's just that Diana sees him that way, and we too. Like Tail said, they make this more complicated.
Wait, Pedro. That line she said, "It's okay, but all I see is you."
Brilliant.
This is not okay. This is not okay.
Don't worry, Shiroi. No time to think about it, because it's instead to see the villain actually acting his master plan.
Which is actually not a bad plan.
It's time for some wish loophole abuse.
Yes.
I wish for a taco.
I wish for a better movie.
And then he turns into the stone and the movie's over. The
Yeah,
end.
you're right. He literally wished on the Dreaming Stone. I wish to be you, the Dreamstone itself. And now our villain.
That was his whole face.
So there you go, Shiro. Our villain is also the plot MacGuffin itself.
Now,
Congratulations.
Okay, the way it was worded, I thought it was just going to be turned into the thing, and then that was
And
it.
Thank God.
apparently it cost Pedro Pascal to have an orgasm or something. I don't. What the
to be
fuck was
fair,
that?
Pedro Pascal hamming it up is surprisingly common.
Oh no! Pedro Pascal hams it up gloriously in this movie.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, I was looking forward to this sequel, and I was thinking a lot of things were going on.
Okay, I will admit that is pretty funny.
And I was thinking,
Well, you wished to be like Diana, so
And-
there you go.
and there were some things I was expecting to
Oh,
happen.
boy.
The one thing I did not expect was for there to be a new member of the League.
And there it is.
Uh,
You ruined it. It's over. You killed
Alright,
it.
Shiro, do you want the floor?
It's over. I mean, what's the point in continuing? This is just.
Alright, Shiro,
Leroy, you tackle this one.
Do you want to have
Uh,
it?
Sure, I'll start. Why not? So they had sex, right? The movie makes that pretty.
Okay, the movie doesn't outright say it, but I think, unlike the Max Award thing, I'm willing to actually fill this one gap.
I'll
because,
just say
yeah,
this.
why
I'll
not?
just-
Okay, Pedro, pretty much association. They bothered to respond to the criticisms to this. They did not deny it. That's equivalent to admitting it.
Yep. So yes, I will run with that completely. This okay. Not even just her. Like, I'm gonna be explicit about this. Like, they just raped a guy. Like, okay. To explain to the audience who might not get it, both parties are consenting, but one of them is consenting from a body that does not belong to them. Not just that, but this is a person who, this isn't, like I said earlier, this isn't just a body they just conjured up out of nowhere. This is like, this is a body that was taken? So they used that for sex, and that is rape. That is not consent. That is. I don't like this. This movie's garbage.
Again, this would have been so easy to avoid if they just had a body being conjured up. There would literally be no problem.
But this is a person's actual body. Like, holy shit.
Also, apparently, this movie signed up to those new policies from some filmmaking group after the Me Too movement.
Wait,
That's
what?
the thing, Dibs. This movie is part of the hashtag Me Too thing. Like they were associated with it and everything. Apparently, from what I've seen.
Wait.
So it's
Fantastic.
Hold on.
I
ironic.
haven't seen anything of that.
Me
Let me get
neither.
it.
What exactly
Luckily.
happened?
Well, let me get it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead and. Say
All right,
whatever you
this
want.
bit is important. Okay, so now, sure, we're about to see Max Award's new powers in the works here. And like I said,
Right.
his plan is actually not a bad one here. He knows that the stone normally has a limit. You usually only get one wish per it. But what if there was a way to get multiple wishes?
Yeah, this is gonna backfire on you horribly, but anyway, just to cap it off, like I forget what the guy's name is, but he is as complicit as Diana is in this.
Steve.
Yeah, they're both terrible.
Sure. Let me put it like this. Harley Quinn is the moral high ground on Diana in this case.
Oh my fucking god.
Yeah, the villain has the moral high
Yeah,
ground.
that actually does. Yeah. Well, okay. Oh, never mind. I think I mistook that with someone
Okay.
making that question on an article. Never mind.
Okay.
Okay. Regardless, that's the basic thing.
The scene still sucks though.
That goes without saying. Okay, I want to emphasize something though. When it comes to this, I want to make this clear to someone who might be wondering something right now. I mean, I can only speak for myself, so I'll just speak for myself. I am not in any way saying that that you cannot have you cannot have rape in any movie by no circumstances whatsoever.
Neither am I, for the record.
In a dramatic movie that explores the topics of, say, the psychological ramifications of shit and all that, then that's a topic that you can explore. Yeah, it can be done in a dark, mature drama film for adults. That's fine. The reason people have a problem with this is because it's two people that are supposed to be people that we love and are supposed to be the heroes of the bloody movie. Remember, this is not even one of those, things like
a clothing montage.
This isn't even a God of War thing where the protagonist is a bad person, but he's complex, so it's fine. No. We're supposed to. These two characters are supposed to be the morally right characters. Especially Wonder Woman. She's the embodiment of truth and love and justice. No, I'm not kidding. That's what Wonder Woman is supposed to be.
The literal spirit of truth.
The spirit of truth. Wonder Woman, according to her creator, Shiroi, is supposed to be the embodiment of truth and moral righteousness. So it's not like... No. I'm not saying Wonder Woman cannot have flaws. Of course she can. She should. Like any good character has. But
there's a difference between flaws and that.
This isn't a flaw. This is just the characters doing something awful, and Diane is apparently okay with this.
And it's being portrayed as romantic. It's not. It's gross.
So here's my take on this. What actually happened...
That begs the question, though. Sorry, go ahead and finish.
Here's my theory. What actually happened was they wanted to do this in a somewhat complex way that felt more realistic, essentially, and they were focusing mainly on the romance. The problem was that they didn't think of the implications until it was way too late here, but they want to try and stick to their guns, essentially.
And again, they didn't deny any of this when it was brought up.
That is my take on the situation here. I don't think that they were intentionally trying to do it this way, but my inkling was that this was an incredibly careless mistake and one that cannot go unabated.
Basically,
Okay, so basically... Okay, on the subject of what Maxwell's doing with the wisdom now,
sure.
Basically, what we've established is that while you can use a wish for something, it can take something away from you. Like that guy earlier, basically, Maxwell had the guy wish for things to go better for him, but as a result, the partner has now been arrested for
federal
crimes.
Taxes,
for federal tax crimes.
Yeah.
So it was Yoshi.
Yes. But yeah, basically, essentially, sure, Maxwell Ward himself is the stone now.
Mm-hmm.
Which, again, is actually an interesting idea here and there. Like, it does... Okay, I said it before, and I'll say it again. Me and Tia already complained about how he is clearly not Maxwell Ward. But if you made him his own original character, he'd be perfectly fine. That said, this does come at a bit of a cost here. Essentially, Shuri, the way this movie was marketed big time was that it would have a more fun and upbeat 80s flow feeling, with Cheetah being the main guy, because, she is literally Wonder Woman's Joker, with Maxwell Lord being more of a supporting villain here. In the actual movie, it couldn't be more reversed here. Maxwell Lord is forefront the big threat here. And Cheetah... Well, we'll get to her later.
She's just kind of the secondary villain, when you get right down to it.
She's kind of there for the most part.
Oh, Shiroi, but here's the thing, though, Shiroi. Don't you realize... That being said, Shiroi, according to a lot of people on Twitter, Shiroi, it's perfectly okay because men cannot be raped because of power dynamics.
I'm just gonna say this right now.
Okay, I'm gonna have to step in on that one. It was one person who said that.
A lot of people that say this crap, though.
No, but the majority of people I've seen have been shitting on this movie.
Yeah, and thank goodness for it. I mean, okay.
The only thing I don't like was the wording, because for the audience, I looked this scene. Well, I looked up the information about the scene before watching this full movie here, because what people were saying was she technically raped someone, and I thought, how could you technically? Yeah, no, that's the exact word. Technically, it's like, wait, how can you technically do that? You either do or you don't, and. Like, me and Alice, looked up the information about the scene, and we were both there, there's nothing technical about that. That's that's rape. That is just like
This is the equivalent of the Avengers 200 comic, where the guy says that through a subtle combination of these machines, had managed to get a woman. It wasn't subtle, he still raped her.
Yeah, the effects of the, I guess you can call it the Lord Stone now, are that Maxwell Lord is now a really rich guy, and Kristen Wiig is now Miss Popular. Oh, I recognise that guy.
Who is it?
But there was indeed
you-
one person who was saying that women can't rape men, and to that I say fuck you.
The bearded guy. He was in Black Mirror Bandersnatch.
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
I still have not played that.
So, Shiroi, have you... Oh, so never mind. This is kind of a...
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
sure,
important.
sure.
We need to speak about the stone.
Wishing stone is one hell of a drug, kids.
Don't do it.
So that's the thing. She apparently knows he took it. So makes me wonder, what was the point of him making it look like he snuck
A
it?
subterfuge, yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Was it all part of the role play that night? Ooh, I'm
I'm
gonna
getting
steal
on
your
your case
stone.
because you. I'm getting on your case because you failed to do your job, you idiot.
Exactly. This is not... That it was not your stone to land. That stone belongs to the museum, not you.
Oh,
Yeah, just like that.
It belongs in the
actually-
museum.
But actually, you know what, Pedro? Wonder Woman has no right to be lecturing people on what to use that isn't theirs.
well, okay, to be fair, she apparently didn't know she was making that wish on the stone.
Well, she
That-
seems perfectly happy about it now, though.
Yeah.
This movie upsets me.
I don't think that's what Dwibs means, but sure, no, that's okay. Okay, let me...
No. I get what Dwibs means, though. The whole body usage thing. That is
Sure.
a big no-no.
Yeah, okay. All right, then. Okay, I have to ask. Jova,
Yes.
let me ask you something. What do you think would have happened if we did a reversal on this whole thing? What do you think would have happened on the internet if instead of this affair, instead we would have had a female character called Hot Woman who would be possessed by a female dad character, just so that female dad character could fuck her still living boyfriend? What do you think would have happened then?
It would basically be what's happening, but on steroids.
It's
Well,
seriously.
people would have
Seriously.
removed the word technically from their statements.
That's the thing. That's the thing, Shiro. My point, Shiro, is that if the genders were reversed, if it was a woman being raped as a result of this entire affair, people would go mad. And Patty Jenkins, they would be demanding for Patty Jenkins' head on a stick. But because it's a man being raped, it's okay. Apparently.
I
This
guess
is what TV tropes call double standard rape on male, I think it's called.
Yeah, although in this
So-
case, isn't it, female on male on male?
Yeah, sorry, you're right.
The thing is, like, people, I don't know what people would do anymore, honestly, because people genuinely think 50 Shades is romantic, and that's straight up abuse also, so you know
Again,
what?
Shiro, but that's again, the entire conundrum behind this is that, again, these sudden mountain of problems could have just easily swept away. Not even like say, balancing things on the other side. No. This thing should not even just exist if they just said that it was a body that was just conjured up from the stone.
Like
But
I
they went
said,
the extra
right-
fucking mile.
Sure. Let me put it like this. One of the biggest complaints people have when something magic is involved is because everything can be excused by, it's magic, we don't have to explain it.
You do have to explain it in this instance, please.
Well, here's the problem, though, Shiroi. They literally could have just had Steve be back on his own because of magic. And they could just say, the stone! But no, they decided to overcomplicate it, i.e. sort of over-explain the magic by making it needlessly complicated in that way. And that's the thing, honestly. I think this is like one of the few times where the wish is this nuanced, because pretty much every other wish is incredibly literal. But here, Diana never said, "Oh, I wish for Steve, but in a different man's body here." So, considering how literal the wish-granting later gets in the movie, why wasn't it just Steve in his own body? And again, here's the thing. It would have worked if it turned out that him being in the other man's body was the price, because, well, like I mentioned early, well, okay, here's the thing, honestly. Why does it take so long for them to realize that there's a price to the stone? Because I was pretty much calling it as soon as the first wish. But, sure, want to take a guess as to how long it takes the characters to realize that, oh, maybe there's a price to a wishing stone?
I'm gonna guess towards the latter act of the movie.
Diana seemed to have already started getting something, because what she has explained right now is that she understands that the artifact is divine in nature, it was made from a god, but she cannot identify it properly, which we'll discover actually later how it is.
So, Pedro, tell Shiroi what she's won.
The ability to continue watch the movie.
Something good?
Okay, Steve, it's nice you want to fly the plane, but it's a lot different than the ones you've been using.
That's the thing, Debs. Even though you make a valid point, the movie's still gonna have Steve be able to immediately fly it just fine, despite it not making any bloody sense.
And they could get on a plane and fly over and fly to Saudi Arabia where they need to go. And before you ask, before you say they have a passport, what about the guy he's possessing? He has one, and he still looks like him to everyone else.
So, guys.
I'm sure piloting a plane from World War I is totally the same as flying a plane in the 80s.
Yes, Pedro?
Clearly. So, guys, should I talk about Patty Jenkins' response to the body swap criticism?
I mean, there's so much other problems in the movie to cover, but that is also something worth covering. That's the thing about this movie. The problems may not seem apparent at first, but when they come, they dogpile. And
Might as well bring it up, though, just to, cap this whole thing off.
Hold on, sure. I should warn you, Shiroi, we're about to pay homage to Final Fantasy XIII of all things.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that...
Oh, boy, it's now.
Exactly.
Oh, boy, it's now. See, guys, Steve is a pilot. Of course he knows how to pilot things.
Yeah,
it's just like Anakin Skywalker.
Oh, that said, we are about to get something good.
You see, Diana, now this is pod racing.
To be fair, Joe, I'm pretty sure the 13 look-aliking is coincidental.
Oh, well,
not just that.
Pedro.
I'm dead certain that scene in 13 was also taking inspiration from something else.
Also, Pedro, well, of course it's coincidental, but so was also the similarities to Amazing Spider-Man 2. Those are coincidental, but they're still there.
Mm-hmm.
Steve, no.
See,
there is a slight problem.
That's something Steve doesn't know about getting cloaked. Radar.
Diana, did you not even think of that before you came up with this stupid plan?
Please, you don't have to formulate the entire phrase. You just have to stop. Didn't you think?
That being said, yeah, it should be. It begs the question, Jova. What is up with comic book movies and this fascination with this trope?
I don't.
The nerdy guy that becomes a villain.
I guess the idea is like, well, nerds get picked on a lot, so of course, with all that abuse, they eventually become bad guys.
That's the thing. This stereotype has stopped being a thing in a long time. Bullying is still present, but it happens for different reasons now. Like, then, if anything, the figure of a nerd has been mutated into something else entirely. But it's a topic for another time.
So now Diana has the power to make things invisible.
Let me explain this to us. Basically, in the comics, this is actually a thing. Well, you might have seen... Basically, Shiroi, question. Remember that cutaway from Family Guy where Superman finds Wonder Woman flying in her invisible airplane?
Yeah.
That's not how radar works.
To what to have said. But that's actually not a joke, Shiroi. She does indeed have an invisible airplane. And her doing this magical bullcrap of turning the airplane invisible, that's this movie's reference to that, basically.
I'm okay. Like I mentioned in Deji's recap, I'm okay with it mostly because the more years passed, the more the backstory behind the creation of the invisible airplane became unnecessarily complicated and sometimes downright creepy. To give an idea, Shiroi, at some point, some writers decided it was a good idea to make the invisible plane a sentient alien beings that is in love with Diana.
Okay, Tio,
That's weird.
Okay, Tio. How long until they eventually make it that the invisible plane is actually Donna Troy? Because, hey,
Why not?
considering her backstory...
The universe. No, sorry. The bleeding was the limit where you don't give a shit. I guess.
Hey, Tio.
That is a question, though, too.
Oh?
Considering the shit that Patty pulls in this movie, I'm surprised she didn't pull that version of the backstory of the plane.
Hey Diana, I turned myself into an airplane. Steve.
Oh, God. Oh, wait.
In fact, now that I think about it, yes, Steve coming back inside the invisible airplane.
Oh God. Okay, to be fair, that would have still be like an abstract entity and not surfing body somewhere else.
Why are you flying through fireworks?
It's
Because
whimsy.
it's gorgeous. And yes, Roy, just like Final Fantasy XIII, we drive through the fireworks.
And hey, Jova, I'm seeing it right now. The airplane version of the Knight Rider. So.
Any objections, lady?
Oh, that's what it's called. Okay.
But, yeah, okay, here's another similarity to Amazing Spider-Man 2. The chemistry between Gal Gadot and Chris Pine is amazing in this movie. They're doing the best that... They're doing
Sorry.
There's the problem, though. Because of a terrible script, it's very good chemistry, but one that you have to watch at a cost. I guess you could say it's like the Wishing Stone itself. And Batman reference.
Yeah, for some reason.
Okay, I mean,
Bruce is just like, what the fuck is going on?
Okay, in the case of Amazing Spider-Man 2, it's not entirely accurate because Mark Webb didn't write that movie.
What about it? Oh, Dwayne,
I'm pretty sure John was only talking about the chemistry between actors.
Yeah, I wasn't talking
I
about
was on about the comparisons in general.
I was talking, well, yeah, I'm comparing the elements here, not about who the directors were or whatnot.
I figured you probably would I think a better idea would be to bring up that the only major difference is that Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone at the time were actually in a relationship, so it probably helped the chemistry a lot, you know?
Okay, scenes like these are actually good here and there. Here's the thing about Wonder Woman 1984. It's kind of similar to how I view... Well, no, even that did it better, but Wonder Woman 1984 is a set of some good scenes strung together by a pretty bad narrative here and there. Let me put it like this. Imagine if you saw a lot of very good scenes here and there. The problem is that they're not connected well together here. This is kind of what that would be.
Here's another example of what I was talking about in a moment. Check out this guy.
Oh, guys, don't you see? Barbara's starting to get mean.
You see what I mean? Aside from the bum and Steve, every man is like this. But anyway.
Well, okay.
Well, it's the same chunk guy again.
How coincidental. Remind me again, Job, how big is the population of Washington, D.C.?
Very massive.
It's the capital, too. I have to assume it's large.
It's big enough to the point where we're arguing to make it another state, essentially.
Apparently it was as big as the fucks given by the writer.
Remind me, Jova, New York itself is also considered a state, right?
Yes. Okay, here's the thing. New York is a state, but it also has a city called New York City.
Yeah. But Washington itself is not a state.
Well, Washington, D.C. itself is the capital.
I mean, seriously?
There is actually...
the crap kicked out of you earlier, and now you're lying again?
There is actually a state called Washington, though. up on
Yeah,
the
it's a bit
northwest.
complicated, Pedro.
It's a bit confusing.
Okay,
Also,
so
I don't know how it. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jova.
here's the thing, Pedro. About that other guy before, he just said, geez, you don't have to be mean about it. That's not him being a dick. That's actually to try and foreshadow how Barbara is going down a dark path.
Basically, Shiroi, her, like we said, monkey's paw. Her price for her new superpowers
Is her humanity.
is her humanity. She's a horrible person as well.
And
I
now
mean,
she's starting to do like
even
American
though-
history accent.
Even though the guy forced himself on her.
Oh,
really,
kid.
so-
Oh, he
Yeah,
did.
that's. I'm kind of like, what? What the fuck are you like?
Okay,
No, I did.
here's...
I get. No, Shiroi, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say that she's not okay for. It's not okay. I have another problem with Barbara beating the crap out of this guy. That's not the issue that I'm bringing up. The problem is that she's gonna be a dick to everybody now, not just this guy. That's the problem.
Also, not only that, here's sort of the problem here. Her change isn't exactly the most shown, but oh no, look, the bum who's friends with her now looks at her in horror because she, I think, killed the guy.
That being said, Shiroi, that's my personal sensibility.
Mind your business.
That being said, Shiroi, there's a difference between my personal sensibilities and what is actually the right thing to do. Because while I do personally like seeing this guy getting the crap out of it because he's a rapist asshole, technically the right thing to do here would be to arrest this guy. You know,
Well, you want to have a cathartic thing?
not kill him like she just did.
Again,
you know?
you want to have a cathartic thing themed after this guy castrate him.
I
You
mean,
know,
okay,
just saying.
like don't kill him, but at least beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, the problem was her killing him. However, here's my issue with Barbara's thing. Barbara's development here is, well, lame. Like, okay, I'll say this right now. She does end up having a better motivation than Electro did. However, Electro had more screen time as an actual villain than she does. Yeah, believe it or not, Shiroi, we're not supposed to consider her a villain just yet. Just yet. Despite, you know, her killing a guy.
Well, I mean, we're slowly seeing her going down this path, as Pedro said, because yeah, it started with beating up somebody who deserved it. Maybe
Oh,
not
no,
killing
this
him,
one.
but
Okay,
Oh, boy.
Bring him, like,
what
tears
is
said.
the wish of this oil tycoon?
See, here's the thing, Shiroi. The reason I'm pointing
Oh,
that
so
out
that
is
its
because-
glory may be renewed.
I know it's the start of a darker spiral. I get that. Yeah.
Wait.
Not, but it's not even just that, Shiroi. Even if that was the one bad thing she did in the entire movie. Oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry.
Guys,
Okay.
so this guy's wish was for his land's glory
Vibes.
to be renewed, essentially. He wants to get rid of certain people in it.
Yes.
Absolutely halal.
And now, Shiroi, who not Maxwell Lord here is supposed to be a parallel to in real life will become apparent to you in a few moments.
You know, I mean, renew.
He already sold his oil. Now what's he gonna do?
Yeah, basically, Shiroi, since he's the wishing stone itself now, he gets to decide what the price for each wish is, basically.
I guess that's how it works, seeing as how the stone, I guess, would decide what the price
Your
is.
Highness, a
but yeah.
miracle.
Oh
yeah.
boy, here we go. A
Wait a second.
wall.
Oh, I wonder what this could
Wait,
represent.
Now, sure. Let me remind you what he said. We want to renew the country to its former glory. Almost like we want to make it glorious again or something.
Yeah, something like that. It sounds familiar.
Yeah.
No, and as I said, Shiroi, take another look at how not Maxwell Lord looks like. Doesn't he remind you of someone?
This whole thing seems a little familiar.
Just a
I know,
little.
Okay, and I want to point this out as well before anyone says it in the comments or whatever. We're not trying to say that comic books can't be. Of course, they can be. Comic books were literally made for the purpose of being political to begin with, anyway. That's the whole reason Captain America was invented, was because of the whole point of we want someone that can punch Hitler in the face because Hitler's an asshole. That was
More
literally-
media needs to do that.
that was
Honestly,
a reason for why Captain America was created, literally.
But there is kind of an art to that, because if you cock up, which is very easy to do, you get either shit like this or Holy Terror, for example.
Yeah.
Or Kingsman
okay, here's
2, the
another
Golden
example
Circle.
of coming up of Wonder Woman's recklessness. She just leaves
Bye.
him there.
No. Don't you see, Dribs? It's okay because she paid him for the car.
Yeah, but what do
Anna.
with the money? He's in the deserts.
Spirit
Diana,
of truth,
That you
everyone.
violated and you just leave him like.
Diana, you're starting to be incredible. Okay, now it's my time to bring a similarity to
Go
an
ahead.
Now it's my time to bring a similarity, this time to an even much older comic book movie. Diana, you're starting to dangerously remind me of 1990s Steve Rogers, and I'm not okay with this.
Wait,
On a similar note, Jovan,
yeah?
since I didn't ask you, especially in the recap of that, you seem to be particularly fond of Indiana Jones style chase sequence between cars. What do you think of this one?
Oh, this scene that we're about to get is actually very, very good. Like, okay,
Another one good thing this movie does have is the action scenes. The action scenes are actually really good.
It's like
Much like
Wait,
Birds of Prey.
hang on. How did she get into her outfit in a second?
She has it under her clothes.
I know,
It's a
but we never saw.
thing.
I know, but we never saw it happen. It just
Also-
suddenly snap cut. to
Also,
it.
I will say this more orchestral remix of the Wonder Woman theme that premiered in BBS is pretty cool.
Oh yeah, the brakes still work. I'm sure they'll work fine if he has no steering wheel.
This
Well,
is like
oh,
this
okay.
is borderline the Dragon Ball Z Canadian dub where Ten Shin Yan says it's okay, I saw wear parachutes.
Yeah.
okay, that was flipping awesome.
But technically, the Canadian dub is the big green dub, not the ocean dub, actually.
Actually, the Ocean dub employed Canadian actors like Scott McNeil
Yes,
and.
Yeah, Canadian actors, but the dub itself was produced in America.
Well, I was referencing that. Whatever.
Point is, to answer Jova's question, basically, Jova, there's also a scene in 1990s Captain America movie where Steve also leaves someone stranded in the middle of the fucking road.
Okay,
So,
okay, Pedro. Which Wonder Woman do you think is better or worse? Wonder Woman in this movie or Wonder Woman in the goddamn unaired pilot?
I would have to watch the pilot again because I
I can tell you
For
the major difference is simple, Pedro. The Wonder Woman pilot is by default this. This is the same Wonder Woman of the 2017 movie. By technicality, this would be worse because we're seeing a character that we know is better than this, not being better than this.
Like,
True. Yeah.
for those who don't recall, Wonder Woman in the pilot was murderous, very vengeful, and pretty much killed a man who was just doing his job as a security guard instead of the people actually trying to actively murder her at the time here and there. That, and she would constantly try and take the law into her own hands and tortured people too. And yet, she still didn't rape a guy in that one.
It's also one of
Also,
Yeah.
apparently, from what you told me, Jova Pedro Pascal is also in that pilot.
Oh, yes. Yes, Pedro Pascal was in the pilot. I mean, I believe he plays like the cop guy who's her police conduit, essentially. But yeah,
that's
that
pretty
scene is awesome.
that's actually pretty cool. Yeah.
One thing I do like about
There's also
that...
the fact that the movie made a point in trying not to have Diana use her sword and shield, instead relying more on lasso and martial arts, which is it's something that actually I'm fine with it. I know that a couple of people actually had problems, but I'm fine with it.
Now, this movie actually, yeah, exactly. You're looking at it. This movie actually does make very creative use of her lasso, as we're about to see in a moment. Actually,
Some,
although to be fair, although at the same time, it also kind of goes overboard with it at times, as we'll see later.
Also,
I will...
poor Pedro Pascal. He's in 2 shitty Wonder Woman movies, nearly in the course of nearly a decade. 2 shitty Wonder Woman products in the course of nearly a decade.
Don't worry, Dwebs. I'll always have the Mandalorian. So.
Hey, at least he was in Kingsman:
This
The
is the
Golden
way.
Circle. Oh, wait, no. They did whiskey so goddamn dirty in that one.
But yeah, that still said, yeah, we're listening to an awesome version of the Wonder Woman theme. That being said, everybody, if you're more of a fan of the original rock version, we will get that as well later.
Yeah.
It's like I said before with this movie. It does have good scenes in it. The problem is that it doesn't have an overall good narrative to connect everything with.
Oh, here you go.
We.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeehaw!
Okay. Apparently.
Okay, who wants to address the elephant in the room right now?
Can I do it?
Go ahead.
Apparently, there was controversy regarding Wonder Woman, who in this case is played by an Israeli actress, saving children who are I can't remember what they were exactly, Palestinian or
Probably.
yeah,
The
maybe
Cubs.
I can't remember for sure. And anyway, it caused a lot of furore.
Mm-hmm.
This is not helped by some previous, apparently, not outtakes, but statements that Gal Gadot had in regards to militarization, but that's a story for another time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is our secret, so don't tell anyone about me or I'll find you and murder you.
Again, as usual, it seems that the bottom line is that celebrities should not be allowed to use Twitter, but that's just me.
But
So
Ah.
yeah,
Have
now we
anyone
found out.
noticed how Wonder Woman's been not quite as strong ever since she made the wish?
Or invulnerable. For that matter.
Okay, that's the thing. Wonder Woman's never really been bulletproof, so I don't get why they're suggesting that her getting a bullet wound is a sign of her strength weakening, like...
No, Joe. It's because she didn't have as much strength, physical strength as well, because she wasn't able to single-handedly, push that tank with her legs.
Oh, no. I get that, but I mean, it seemed like they're implying that the bullet wound means that, oh, she's not as strong, even though, like I said...
I get the idea that she noticed a thing, like I said in Deji's recap. It's not just the bracelet, she needs to have the reflexes to use them properly. That's why she's failing, she doesn't have the reflexes.
So, I'll just say it before... I said it before, and I'll say it again. The price should have just been that Steve was in a different body here. Because, yeah, she's losing her powers and everything, but... Like...
Honestly, Jova, I'm okay with the losing power bit, but again, just leave Steve in an artificial body on its own.
Well, I'm speaking on the mentality that, we have to take one thing or the other,
I still wouldn't like some aspect of the movie, but my god, that alone is such a breaking thing.
Yeah, the thing is, this movie does have plenty of good bits, but it's just the stuff that is bad is very, very, very bad.
And by the way, Shiroi, believe it or not, we've not quite yet even cracked the second act.
No.
By the way, Shiroi, we're not telling the backstory of the wishing stone. Basically, it's been around for various civilizations throughout the ages, and every civilization that got a hold of it got destroyed itself, basically. So basically they're trying to do this thing where, because the wishes get out of control, eventually the civilization...
Chaos and apocalypse. Chaos, they can do everything.
Also, it may or may not be caused by a different set of gods or something.
Actually, no, remember, they're mentioned later. The responsible is a pre-Columbian god. It's apparently an actual character in the DC comics, but I forgot his name. It's basically pre-Columbian Loki, basically.
Also, that was such an Indiana Jones line.
It was, yeah. Let me just finish real quick what I was saying to Shiroi. No, see, here's the thing, Shiroi. Okay, even if the whole...
What the hell was the point of that scene? I'm sorry, I just have to ask. What was the point of that forest scene all of a sudden with the wind blowing?
Transition?
Anyway, the wind blows.
Anyway, yes, Pedro?
See, here's the thing, Shiroi. Again, like I said, I'm right now. I'm just separating my personal sensibilities from what is usually regarded as the right thing to do. I personally think that guy deserved to get beaten the crap out of, maybe even dead. Who knows? But that's just me, But at the same time, Shiroi, usually it's regarded as to not punish so okay, this one person did one evil thing, therefore I will also do one equally evil thing to this person as retribution. Usually people don't see that as the right thing to do. That's the reason why I was pointing it out, basically. Because a lot of people will make the argument that, oh, so you're going to punish an evil act by doing an evil act yourself, basically. You know? So that's all I was pointing out, basically.
I have a complicated relationship with that. Punching somebody in the face doesn't have, in a lot of cases, long-lasting traumatic effects on them. Raping somebody actually does. So, punch him in the face.
Well, here's the thing, Shira. She just give it one punch in the face. That's the thing.
No, I know. That's why I agreed with you. That this is her
disproportionate.
That her killing, that. I remember I said beat him up. Don't kill him. I never said to kill him.
Well, okay. Here's the thing, Shira. Let me ask you. Where do you draw the line? What if I cut that person's arms and legs, but I don't kill him?
It's a long topic, and it's tied to one of the old laws, from the Babylonian civilization, eye for an eye and all. So it's sadly probably not the place for these.
Guys, look, just like Sherry predicted, we're in the second later half, and we're only finally realizing that the thing's a monkey's paw. I mean, look.
What was your clue, guys?
Okay,
you couldn't fool me.
Okay, look, I get it.
Guys, look, Barbara's wearing a fur coat. See?
That's right.
Mean jack shit.
She's gonna become a cheetah, guys. Totally. Like, look, again, I get it. There are some people who complain about how, if your name is a certain way or if you have a certain gimmick, you're probably gonna become a bad guy. But like, I don't know. The fact that she becomes a cheetah here, well, okay, the actual reason she does become a cheetah is weird. Like, at the very least, have her have an interest in cheetahs or something.
The cheetah thing comes out of
nowhere.
this
is a geologist more than a zoologist, actually. Don't you know?
Yeah, Mortal Kombat actually does that with Scorpion's backstory that we saw in the recent animated film, where the reason the reason he calls himself Scorpion is not only because he's a fan of the scorpion as an animal in general to begin with, it also serves as a kind of an homage to his son of sorts.
Okay.
And the lesson that he taught to him.
Okay, so this scene is pretty weird, because let's assume Diana is trying to keep her secret identity. Well, she's pretty much going to state stuff that pretty much clues in that she's Wonder Woman in freaking front of Barbara. And yet she later has the goal to be surprised when Barbara turns out to know that she is Wonder Woman, despite this scene happening the way it does. What? Oh, Barbara, she just vanished.
Mm-hmm.
She's Batman now. Okay.
All right. So
maybe.
Okay.
But here's the thing, Shiri. It seems that being the stone still gives a kind of cost to Max.
All right.
Every time he grants a wish, Shiroi, his health gets worse, basically.
Oh.
Again, his cost is his own life essence. So picture this, Shiri. You have become essentially a wish-granting thing. But the thing is literally destroying you from the inside, body and soul. So, what is Max's brilliant plan for fixing this?
He's gonna make a wish to fix it.
Oh!
Shiro, you're thinking too simple and less stupidly.
No, that's the thing you remember. He's the wishing stone. He himself cannot do a wish. He needs someone to do the wish for him. That's the thing, remember? He can grant wishes to other people, not himself, though.
Out of this movie.
Yeah.
I wish for Patty Jenkins to be fired from the DCU. Can you grant me that, Max? Or sorry, not Max. Sorry. Oh, and Jeff Johns. Fire Jeff Johns while they're at it.
Yeah, I mean he's been. I mean he's not in charge of the DCEU anymore. And, ever since then, he's been kind of lacking.
I can't speak for the rest of you guys, but after this, I don't want Patty Jenkins to work on another Wonder Woman movie.
What
at least
other
not alone.
Okay. I don't want Patty Jenkins completely thrown off, because she showed that she can do good with the first Wonder Woman movie.
At least this is another example, much like Batman Returns, that, full directive creative control should not be allowed like this.
So she did make the first movie.
Oh, she did, yeah.
That's the thing, she's right. In the first movie, she only directed it. The writing and story writing was entirely done by other people.
And remember, she still was kept in check by Warner Bros. And Zack Snyder.
she wanted the story to go a certain way, and for the most part she got it, except for the main ending. She more so got the ending she wanted to make with this movie, and oh, believe it or not, Shiroi, the ending is gonna make everything you've seen in this movie seem sane by comparison.
Okay, so, what did you guys say? Should I start addressing Patty's response?
Oh man.
Well,
yes,
I would say yes, but then there's this...
If nothing's important
Well,
going
that's the
on,
thing.
There is kind of something important
Max is
coming
having,
up.
again, Max a brilliant master plan in how to fix his own health for this situation.
he's
But
going to
again,
enlist the help of a child.
His own
no,
son.
that's his son, Shiroi.
Oh.
Again, Shiroi, gotta need to make it relatable for the American audience. Being a single
How
parent
is this
and all.
relatable?
It's Shiroi, he has a son, and that means everything. Never mind the fact that a lot of people decide to not have children these days. But what do I know?
So what is that wish even supposed to mean, he wishes for his greatness?
Not just that, the fact that Max doesn't want to do it. Like it's easy. You have the power to take something from him. Do something stupid, like say, "I will take a bit of your hair." That's kind of the thing. I forgot to actually mention it. This is very similar to the first Drakengard in terms of equivalent exchange, where you make a pact with a mythological being, but you have to exchange something. Like the protagonist exchanges his voice, another person exchanges their youth, so they remain youth eternally. But there's a guy who exchanged his hair, and he's bald as a result. But that's it. He did make the sacrifice.
That's...
Oh, hold on. Oh, okay, cool.
Oh boy.
Okay, so okay, you know what? Fuck it. I'll just call him. I'm tired of calling him not Maxwell Lord. Donald Trump here is gonna go see the president.
Yes.
So, let's see.
I honestly don't even know if we ever saw this president ever in other DC extended
That's the
universe.
thing, though. It's the 1980s, and it's supposed to be Ronald Reagan at this point.
And it pretty much is Ronald Reagan in everything but name.
Well, Dwebs, if I remember correctly, Donald Trump was already a millionaire by 1984, wasn't he?
But not the president.
Well,
Yeah.
I get that, Shiroi. Well, he's
Considering
not
the
president.
80s,
He's not the president in this movie either, Shiroi. So.
Also, yeah, considering the 80s, for a president, we're gonna go for a more of a Ronald Reagan stereotype.
Oh god.
Which is more fine by me. Honestly, I subscribe to what Linkara says. Political satire works better with a couple of years of distancing from it.
And look, now it's pandemonium out on the streets here. Believe it or not, Shiroi, one nickname some people have called this movie is Wonder Woman 2020.
I have to point this out. Guess
Because
what,
I need to
Shiroi?
take my jacket off.
That too, but guess what, Shiroi?
Mm-hmm.
Something is bothering Steve.
Oh.
He's starting to think that there's something really wrong about this whole picture. Now you're probably wondering, wait, has he finally realized that maybe we shouldn't have raped a guy?
No, I don't think the movie is going to be anywhere aware of that.
That's not exactly what, and you would be right. That's not what Steve thinks is the wrong thing. Steve now looks at how Diana hasn't gotten over him, and I don't blame him, because I still don't buy this whole crap of Wonder Woman not getting over Steve Trevor, because she has done that plenty of times in other media.
Also, how many years has it been?
70.
Yeah, around 70.
Okay. Keep in mind, it was World War I, so now it's like 84, specifically 1984. So if we're to assume that she came in on like the last year of World War I,
between 65 and 70, Jova.
But the problem is, it's like you have Wonder Woman, and her character motivation is not being able to get over a man after 70 years.
Okay, here's part of the problem, Shiroi. This has to be in continuity with Batman v Superman and Justice League, where she apparently only really got out of her shell when Batman finally told her to nut up and get over things here and there properly.
Wow, someone's speaking sense. Now address the fact that you can't rape people as well while you're at it. Like,
oh my god, I don't want him, I want you.
Because it's sick. That's why you can't have
And
it.
here's the other major
Exactly.
problem. Now the movie is presenting the fact that Diana is supposedly being selfish about this. The fact that she wants this one thing, but she cannot have it because that's technically cheating, calling back to the beginning of the movie. Here's the thing. Okay, sure, let's take aside from a second the entire implication about Steve in another man's body. Let's just
Sure.
imagine this is a perfect world where Steve actually had basically being in a conjured up body without no harm, no foul to anyone else. You know, I'd kind of sign up with Diana on this one
Yeah.
because the movie presents her life like she had not been happy maybe to constantly do the sacrifice, but the moment that she sees some positivity in her life, it's for something that she's not allowed to do, but not really for her own fault.
Oh,
Remember,
guys.
her wish was also a bit indirect on that front.
Hey,
So,
guys. Remember...
again, the movie is unnecessarily cruel to her for this occasion.
Oh, guys. Remember Hysteria, who was mentioned at the start of the movie in Famous
Yeah, not even kidding. Shiri, out of curiosity, have you ever watched Saint Seiya? It's an anime about people in armor.
That's the thing too.
I know about it, but I haven't seen it.
That's the thing.
It's similar to that. Sorry, go on.
Sure.
Taylor.
That's the thing too. What you just said. That's part of Patty Jenkins' defense of the body swap
Also,
thing.
Also,
I
300, yes, Zack Snyder and Warner Bros. I remember that.
Also, oh my god, that's CGI.
But yeah, like I said, Teo, that's why I wanted to bring it up, Teo, because Patty Jenkins addresses that in her defense of the body swap thing.
Also,
that's why-
Diana,
that's why-
sorry.
That's why I wanted to bring it up.
Also, Diana, the Spartans refuted armor so they could actually be more effective in combat thanks to agility, not because of some bullshit about becoming more powerful. Fuck off.
Okay, on the subject of CGI, the CGI throughout this film has been incredibly inconsistent. Sometimes it looks fine, other times it looks like it came out of a late 90s PC game.
Also, you bother to have a setup of the traffic departing like the Red Sea, but you don't make the same joke that Bruce Almighty did with the cars moving suddenly. For shame, movie.
So...
No news.
There's got to be a better way. Oh boy, here we go, Shiri. It's time to meet the President of the United States.
This is one of my favorite scenes, actually.
Sure.
I
Oh, look
absolutely
at
love
that.
this guy.
Look at that.
I
He
love
even
this
has...
It's not
president.
Ronald Reagan.
Look at... Well, he even has the Star Wars thing in the background, which Ronald Reagan was all about.
That's the thing, Dwebs. This is not the United States president. This is a cartoon caricature of what a U.S. president in the 80s would be, as you're about to see.
Remember, Shiri.
Isn't that
Max
the
Lord,
better approach?
that's the thing, Shiri. Max Lord, remember, Max Lord is all doing this just for the sake of not losing his, his elf state because of a wishing granted. So bear in mind of what's actually happening.
So, Shiro, I have a question for you. What do you think the president will wish for? Take a wild guess. Remember, this is the 80s. He's supposedly Ronald Reagan. What do you think he's going to wish for? Surprisingly, not for all drugs in the world to disappear.
Just to keep being president, maybe? I don't know.
That would have been more Nixon, Shiri.
Yeah, this is a cause of the 1970s.
No, it's also in Watchmen with the fact that Nixon gets elected a third fucking time.
Yeah,
So-
Cold War and all that.
This was the period of Brezhnev. The worst that you could expect was him kissing someone. Come on.
Let me put it this way, Joe, by the way, to address what you said. Let me put it this way, Jova. If other people... I want Patty Jenkins out of the DCU because, well, like I said, if it was a gender reversal, people would say this.
True.
Therefore,
Also, remember,
yeah.
Shiri, the fact that he needs to touch someone for the wish to happen. So, what was the president's
So what do
wish?
you want, Mr. President?
Let's...
Yeah. So I love this. This is hilarious.
Okay. McDonald's.
Listen.
Okay, so
This is like a tie-in to Superman 4: The Quest for Peace.
You see what I mean? You see what I mean? Cartoon caricature or
Jova, I don't know if you remember. Can I get a quote from the final speech of Superman 4
Okay.
about the willing?
allow me,
amazing.
allow me. And there will be peace. There will be peace, but only when the people want it enough.
Pretty
That's
much.
the thing,
Okay,
that's the thing, Joe.
now
He's
he's
wishing
the
for the
president.
opposite, though.
I know, right?
And now Maxwell Lord's the president.
Kind
Not
of,
exactly.
sorta.
Not
Okay,
exactly. He's not actually wanting to take over the presidency, but he wants to have a bit of just enough power to do something particular.
Okay, I
And
want
the
to
guy's just standing there in the back.
while we're on the air,
Oh god, I love those people's
Major?
looks and everything.
while we're live, and before I forget, I want. Oh wait, hold on. After this,
Oh,
This is
this.
yes.
Just listen to this, Yoroi.
As you do.
Yes, the Star Wars program.
The Star Wars program.
For those who don't know, Ronald Reagan wasn't the most sane guy. He literally wanted
Nah.
It was a literal actor, Jova.
he wanted to win the Cold War by essentially using space technology, essentially. And he called it the Star Wars program because
So, yeah.
there'd be wars amongst the stars.
This
So get
program
this.
is-
In
Oh,
this
sorry, go on.
in this universe, apparently Ronald Reagan was onto something with the Star Wars program because Shiroi, according to this movie, the United States has created a global satellite that allows people to beam particles through everyone's TVs that will immediately allow physical contact to whatever is being projected off the screen. So basically, Shiroi, think about it like this. Since Maxwell Lord's powers work through physical touch, if he does a broadcast through that particle beam technology, then that officially means that that's him touching everyone.
Basically, the movie is literally saying that metaphorical touches
Count.
count somehow, and I don't know.
Now, this is supposedly a reference to the original story we were talking about, where Maxwell becomes a villain, Countdown to Infinite Crisis, a story where Batman builds a satellite called Brother Eye, and Maxwell Lord takes advantage of that to try to take over the world.
Diana, hang on a minute. You know that Steve uses a sword, yet it's alright for you to drop people from high onto cars.
Because she's
Hypocrite.
incredibly perspective of him, but yeah.
Not just that, but does this mean that if Donald Trump is live broadcasting on YouTube, he will be able to grant people's wishes via YouTube broadcasts?
No,
as well?
because he's still not touching them. Remember, this is
Well,
You gotta send people donations in the super chat
but
to.
hold on, Theo. He's gonna broadcast throughout the entire world via the satellite thing. How is that?
they
any different?
mention about the particles thing. This particular technology uses said particles to enter in contact with the technology they use.
Whatever.
Technobabble, Pedro. Multimodal reflection sorting.
What is there but to wish but more, Shiroi? More nuclear weapons. What do you think of this depiction of the
Oh.
U.S. president?
Hey,
Oh,
Barbara.
here we go. Now, like,
I'm still in
almost
the
2 hours
movie.
2 hours in, finally we get the Barbara's heel face turn, and she's still not Cheetah. She just
Well-
has this fur coat, and that's it.
Okay, to be fair, Barbara Minerva in the comics can occasionally appear more human, just with, of course, a cheetah dress.
Now all of a sudden she's she was somewhat liking Maxwell Lord for a bit, although then she kind of went against him a little bit, and now all of a sudden she wants to protect him with everything she holds dear. And I don't think he's cast the wish on her yet.
I
Well,
think it's because
okay.
from her perspective, he's the only one that's been nice to her even before she made the wish.
Not only
Diana?
Not only that, Dribs, but think about it. If Wonder Woman stops Max, then that eventually means all wishes being renounced, and Well, Barbara doesn't want to be like that. And yeah, what a shock! Now she figures out that you're Wonder Woman. I mean, granted, maybe she figured it out because of the wish, but I like to imagine
Well,
that she
Joe, but
figured
let's
it out.
face it. Maybe if Diana wore glasses, she would be able to hide her identity better.
But yeah, basically the point here is the fact that for that story, Batman builds this satellite, Max Lord takes it over, and the climax is basically kind of there, where Diana has to force also to kill Max Lord before he uses Superman to do bad things, essentially.
So,
Yeah, it's the
here-
same-
So Geoff Johns wanted to be cute and trying to reference some of his old stuff, and I will admit the outcome here is technically better than the one in Countdown to Infinite Crisis. I will say that.
so
It's the
here's
same
the.
thing.
I'm sorry, go
It's
on.
the same thing. It's the same thing with Barbara in this movie, Jova. You see, whenever Clark puts on his glasses, it makes him uglier as a result. Therefore, that's why people don't recognize him. Don't you see? That's how it
So,
works.
hey, so come to think of it, so if Steve makes a wish, would something go wrong seeing as how he's technically the product of a wish of Diana's?
And this comes this comes to bite everything in the ass, because sadly we're at the point where the wish loop wish paradoxes start running rampant, because what Jove just explained is just one of the things that can happen.
Come to think of
entire-
it, why
the
doesn't
entire-
Steve just wish for the stuff to go away? I mean, again, can he not
The en-
because he's a wish himself?
Apparently not. The entire point is the entire point is the fact that the wish overloading has to cause chaos and the collapse of civilization. I get that, but the movie never actually explores the idea of two wishes going in conflict with each other
Not
or
only
creating a
that,
potential paradox. Because I get the idea that the writing and directing team would not be capable of actually telling about this in a compelling way.
not only that, but here's a problem. This movie seems to run off the idea that people will mainly only make selfish wishes. I'll explain more about that later down the line, but you'll see what I mean. Oh wait, are we about to get the line? The David Cage-esque
Yeah.
line? Go! People didn't even recognize me. Oh, here we go. Where is your humanity? You know, somewhere
Oh.
David Cage's heart went aflutter.
And he doesn't know why.
Okay, to be honest, I'm not sure if I'm not sure if that when it comes to Diana, I'm not sure if it took away her powers or Gal Gadot's well, emotion of her voice. Yeah.
Why not just say I will kill you?
Because we can't say kill. I don't know.
Oh,
Seriously.
so threatening.
Also, Tio, I don't know. I kind of wish you. I kind of after seeing what the cheetah looks like, I kind of wish she wasn't that in the movie.
Okay.
Well, that is just incompetence in CGI. That should not justify not having that design.
So, we are almost 2 hours in and we finally have our two villains properly meeting up and having a plan.
Basically.
Yeah, like in the other. Well, not even just Amazing Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3 even.
Okay, I'm just gonna say this. Aquaman did this better. The main villain of Aquaman is actually sort of the secondary villain, but that's the thing. In there, the guy actually did have a point and purpose, and it made some sort of sense that he would start off as Aquaman's secondary villain because he didn't know Aquaman as well as, say, Ocean Master did. So
there you go. His wish came true. New nukes came out of fucking nowhere.
They just put what? You tell me that they not took over already previously existing bombs?
Unfortunately, the caveat is that they're firing at the enemy.
Hey, we're walking here.
So, Shiroi, what do you think of this quote-unquote 80s president that we've got here?
Very Saturday morning cartoon.
You know what? It's interesting you say that, Shiroi. You know what? That moment with the "What do you wish, Mr. President?" Well, this is the but more new weapons. You know what that feels, Shiroi? It feels like a joke from American Dad.
Look at that chaos! Look at that chaos in Washington D.C. Can't imagine that being realistic.
Oh,
Yeah,
Joe,
basically.
we're clearly referencing The Division 2 by Ubisoft.
That's
This
basically
movie frustrates me so much.
that's the thing, Shiroi. That's basically what that scene is. I've talked this to Jova as well. That's basically what that scene with the president is, Shiroi. It's an American Dad joke, but played straight.
I
Chaos!
wish the rest of the movie was that ridiculous.
Well, Shiroi, the climax is going to please you then.
This is a superhero movie. Can we be stupid for 2 hours?
No, Shiroi, now we need to be, we need to have, commentary about social problems.
Actually, you know what? Actually, it's a good thing I haven't started it yet because
Oh, now might actually be a good time to bring up Patty Jenkins's thing.
yeah, because
considering-
this is where Patty Jenkins's supposed excuse kind of comes into full play.
Okay.
actually,
So I'll just say this. Why is it that Steve himself is the one telling Diana that she needs to let her go? Like, it feels weird that the product of the wish itself is urging Diana
If
to let the
anything,
wish
it should
go.
be the opposite. It should be like, no, you need for me to be here for you.
Yeah, I know. Like, wouldn't that have been
Again,
more...
like Jova said, it being tied to the wish,
It's
convincing
because
her to
they'll-
stick with it.
It's because they're trying to replicate this equivalent scene from the first movie, where Steve was the one calling Diana to reason and making sure she understands that yes, it's true. There are humans that are capable of bad things. That doesn't mean we're all crap, you know. That's what he's doing here as well. He's calling her to reason, trying to make her see the light in the wrong in her ways, basically.
Actually, Diana, you will love again. You'll love a man who dresses as a bat.
Again, I cannot stand this implication that Diana can get over Steve for 60 plus years. It
Again,
doesn't make any sense.
I
for her
really-
character.
I really get the feeling it's just their way to try and cover their bases so that they don't break continuity with Batman v Superman, essentially. But it's like,
But it still makes it stupid, though.
okay, I'll just say
Sure,
this:
sorry, go ahead.
why not have just made a sequel about her in modern times? Honestly, at this point. Oh, and by the
agree.
way, I'll just ask a question that I've asked before: how the hell was essentially the equivalent of the world being in danger to this level not something that was written in the history books? And
That's the
mentioned in
thing,
that
Jova,
movies?
like I said, around the end, it basically gives the idea
hold on.
that it
Here
will
you
be
go.
magically erasing cream memories.
Wait, here
By
we
the
go.
way, Shiroi, that's the last time we see the actor that plays Steve.
That
That's fine.
said,
Yeah. Chris Pine's not in the movie.
that said though, Shuri, so Handsome Man is now free, and
I
she
renounce
left
my
him
wish.
in the
And there
middle
go,
of.
magically your wound starts to
In the middle of
Yeah,
the
see.
war zone, yeah.
Yes, sure. Not only did we rape Handsome Man, we also let him right there alone in the middle of a war zone.
In the air.
The only
When
reason.
when he comes to, like, he's gonna be completely oblivious as to what's going on and probably terrified.
Yes.
Like,
Justice for
never
Handsome
seen
Man,
And now,
goddammit.
out of nowhere, Wandy now discovers that at its full strength, she can actually fly.
This
you
has
will
actually
see.
been foreshadowed by Steve, where when she asked Steve about his old flying method thing, he says, well, it's just kind of a thing where, you just feel the air, you feel the flow, and blah, 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 blah.
you gotta believe.
And basically, she
With a proper rapper logic, of
This
course.
this is also another thing that I mentioned as well when I first watched this movie with Teo. This is at the point where the movie feels like it comes out of a Silver Age comic book, because specifically with Wonder Woman flying.
There
Hey,
you go,
Dwibs.
incorporation.
Dwibs.
Hmm?
It sure is nice that Diana learned to fly. Shame that she forgot about flying in Batman
Where did
v
you
Superman.
learn to fly?
In what? Sorry, Jova?
In Batman v Superman.
And Justice League.
I mean, I can't imagine her flying coming in handy at all during Batman
yeah,
v
you see,
Superman.
that's always a danger with having a prequel or an interquel in a cinematic universe. If you're not careful, situations like that can happen.
Well,
Again, that's why we need someone in charge to make sure this crap doesn't
And
happen.
that should be Walter Hamada.
Again, also consider this. It's nice. Any development that Wonder Woman gets in the film, again, won't really be capitalized on until Batman v Superman, because it's Batman who really gets Wonder Woman out of her little bubble here and there.
That's the thing, Dwebs. Walter Hamada has made it very clear that he sees contradicting the Snyderverse stuff as a good thing. So,
Well, okay.
As far as he's concerned, pretending that crap didn't happen is a good thing in his eyes.
Let me put it like this.
It'd be one thing if you say, it'd be one thing if you
Superman
just said,
pose.
I don't want to. It'd be one thing if you just said, I don't want to do a cinematic universe like Marvel. I want to do something different with DC. That'd be one thing, but you're kind of still in one.
Yeah. All right, Shiroi, maybe I'm really, really fucking stupid and I can't understand this, so by all means, explain this to me.
All right.
How the hell is this supposed to be? Because, and for the record, allow me to remind the audience real quick, just in case. The creator of Wonder Woman himself created the character specifically for female empowerment.
And bondage.
Okay. That's true, but come on.
She has a whip. I mean,
Okay. It was wholesome, yes, but let us never forget bondage was definitely a part of it.
Yes, however, let's try to stick to this particular part of it, because that's the one.
Oh, hold on, there you go. Now, actually, that's their kind of wish that would turn into Cheetah property.
I want to be number one.
And this means having a persona.
Yes!
Yay!
So you want to? So
Okay.
wait. So wait. You want to be a lion?
No,
or
no.
T-Rex.
Oh my god, she wants to be a lion. It's like Renault in Final Fantasy VIII.
You're gonna be a furry or a scaly?
Okay, so basically, Shiroi, as a little recap, the creator of Final Fantasy. Sorry, hold on. No, I completely-
Whoa!
Also, give me the second. Also, give me the second.
Abort retry fail.
Actually, give me the second trailer, because there's a scene upcoming that I want to mention quickly, that is tied to what Diana is doing in getting here.
It's like I said with this movie. It's not just one problem. No, it's problem upon problem, and they are very quick behind each other.
Let's see this scene, whatever it is.
I think it's in about. I think it's actually.
So what you're saying, Jove, is the bullshit is piling up too fast. We're gonna need bigger shovels.
Okay, Shuri, imagine if Donald Trump essentially became president of the entire world. That is kind of the equivalent of what's about to happen, because he's about to make an address to the world.
There is, however, Shiroi, one bright side to this whole thing. Pedro Pascal is gonna ham it up like crazy, and it's glorious.
Also, anyone who doesn't understand, remember, this is 1984. There are a lot of countries, including mine, for example, who at the time had barely anyone who understood English.
Oh, hold on. I have to. Okay. So again, on Pedro's behalf, Pedro Pascal, I mean, as a Pedro myself, allow me, Jova, grab my hands.
Okay.
What do you wish for, Jova? What do you wish for in the whole wide world? The most thing that you wish right now.
Well, what is there else to wish for but more? More video game crossovers. More Phoenix Wright being in Smash. More Sonic and Mario
You get
at the
one
Olympics.
wish, asshole.
You wish to be famous.
Okay, that's
Oh.
good. That's good.
So,
However, Jova,
This one.
this one.
That's
Dad!
very charming.
Shiroi, Dwibs, is there some kind of thing with Irish people that I'm not aware of?
Basically,
the
basically
UK has always been violent against people
basically,
who fight on this.
Okay, I'll explain. In the 80s, there was still a lot of tensions between the British and the Irish.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. It's this one, Shiri. See, remember, this scene was in the... Hold on, give me a second. This scene was in the trailer, if you remember, Shiri. That's it. That's all you get from this awesome moment. Well, the trailer kind of promised we're going to be more of that.
So, I just want
Although
to...
the way it's portrayed in this movie is a bit cartoonish, especially the way the actors deliver it. I wish all you Irish people would go back. Well, I wish you dropped dead.
If I recall correctly, Dweebs, it's from those revolt where the term Sunday, Bloody Sunday is from.
Also, you gotta love how Diana turned around, went back home to go get the armor, because it's obvious, and, trailer shot and everything.
And there you go. Cheery, that is the conclusion. Maxwell Lord did all this shit just to get some health.
Jova?
Wait, hold on. Okay.
Jova,
And that
Jova, I
apparently...
just realised something.
What?
A superhero movie in which there's an urgent situation going on, but the superhero decides to go back home to change into their new outfit to sell the new toys.
Huh.
Patty, why are you taking inspiration from the worst superhero movies? That was Batman and Robin.
Okay, to be fair, in Batman and Robin, they were switching to the winter-themed outfits to help them contend with the cold and to get, the special winter-themed vehicles.
Also,
So believe it or not, Dwibs, this has less of a reason. Well, okay, Wonder Woman claims that armor is super special and very invulnerable, y'all. But
Also, this is clear a day shot that was, desaturated to reflect the cloudy environment.
And there you go, Shiro. This is now Wonder Woman is using the Asteria armor that was established at the beginning of the
Again,
movie.
Saint Seiya much.
Wow, I didn't know this was a playthrough of the Wonder Woman 1984 video game.
remember, this
yeah.
armor is supposed to be
Alright,
like...
and here you go. There's the BBS Wonder Woman theme.
This armor is supposed to be like ultra super
it's
special,
gone.
yo.
Yeah, this was just there for a second. Oh boy, I think it's now.
Oh boy. Here we go.
Oh,
Shiroi,
no.
the persona approaches.
Can you even see with all this darkness?
So apparently Maxwell Lord giving her more power
Apparently.
translates to, I'm gonna make you look like you're auditioning for the scene of Cats. Okay, to be fair, she looks better than Cats.
And the sad thing is that I kind of like this fight scene in general. It's just
Oh,
that
yeah,
the CGI, it's distracting.
Yeah, Tio. Maybe that's why they set it during the dark, so you can barely see it.
Also, for all that talk about this armor being incredibly powerful and invulnerable, Cheetah kind of makes pretty quick work of it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, I mean, it's not breaking, if that's what you mean.
Just wait.
No, you will see in
Shiroi.
a second. Because Diana is actually going to use it for the intended purpose, defensive mechanism.
Will I, though? It's very dark here.
Anyway,
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's dark, but it's light enough in a sense where you
There we
can
go.
see what's going on.
but yeah, anyway.
Yeah, go on,
Okay,
Pedro.
so, reminder, Shiroi. The creator of Wonder Woman back in the 40s was a psychologist who was a feminist before it was even cool to be one. He was a firm believer that women are far more capable of kindness than men, basically. And as a result, he created Wonder Woman because he felt like we needed more female superheroes. That was the whole reason he created a character. So, of course, female empowerment is always going to be key to the identity of the Wonder Woman franchise. That was the whole reason why it was created. So, of course, you gotta have that. So, supposedly, this, much like any other piece of Wonder Woman media, would have to be...
And there go the wings. Yeah, that's the thing. She pretty much tore for those wings like they were butter. Regardless.
Wasn't there the entire message that, I should uphold to the tradition? Whatever, fuck it. Go on, Pedro.
Yes. So, let me... by all means, sure, explain this to me. Maybe I'm just too stupid to understand how the hell this works. How the hell can a movie supposedly be female empowering?
Oh,
and yet
wait,
have
hold on, Pedro, I have to stop you again. Guys, the message from the start
We're
of the...
never gonna get this point out.
Well, that's the thing. The message from the start of the movie has now come back about how you can't take the easy way out. And that translates to you can't wish your dead loved ones back. Because that and cheating are the same thing.
Mhm.
Oh, but get ready for a new brand of stupidity, Sure, are you ready for a new brand of stupidity? Because it's time for a lesson in physics.
Yeah.
And electricity.
My question: what is one of the things that conducts electricity the best?
I mean,
If you've played
Hold on,
Pokemon,
hold on.
this answer should be easy.
water.
Exactly.
And what's another thing that conducts electricity well that Wonder Woman may be wearing?
Metal?
And especially gold. Mythbusters actually showed that gold is very compatible with electricity.
Very conductive, yeah. So take that in mind as we're about to fall into the water.
Whee!
I mean, the scene looks cool, at least from
Again,
what
like
I
he
can
said,
see.
this entire fight scene is pretty cool. It's choreographed. Diana is using her lasso and everything. It's
I
just
know,
that.
it just sucks about the effects.
And how the fight ends. Hey, no flash kicking underwater.
That's cheating.
Ha. Seriously.
Yeah, it's about to be
Keep
over.
in mind, at this point, Diana can just fly both of them to another place. She purposely stays in the water like this.
Here you go. And you're both dead.
Especially
Yeah.
Diana. Okay, look, here's the thing. Barbara, yes, since she's naked now for some reason. But Diana was wearing flipping gold armor. Yet she's the one who's okay in all of this. Like,
No,
This
not just that.
is worse than the Beyond Two Souls swimming in the Arctic thing.
oh my god.
I can give potential benefit to Diana because she's still divine in nature. But no, Barbara should have died here. But no, look at that. She just got a mild bruise.
Also,
That's fucking it.
Also, I gotta point this out. So, Barbara, you said you wanted to be number one. So so basically, number one involves you strutting around naked.
Also, that's it for Cheetah. Hope you enjoyed it.
Basically. So yeah, Shiroi, answer me this question: How the hell
Yeah,
can
woman empowerment, yada yada yada.
how the hell can a movie be about female empowerment and yet have the main female character be someone who is so hung up on a man that she can't get over him for 60 years?
Because the idea is to show her rising above it.
You get a wish granted, and
You
you
get a wish granted.
Because I'm getting conflicted signs here.
So,
to be honest with you.
guys.
No, I would.
Go ahead, Shiroi.
No, I would agree. I would agree. Like, because it's not like, because she didn't even know him that long for a start.
And now he starts taking off his clothes.
This
for
isn't
some
like
reason.
somebody she's been in love with and have been with for a long time, because, depending on the circumstances, people can take many, many years to get over somebody. But like, you barely knew the guy, and it's been like over half a century?
Pretty
Yes.
much.
Yes.
Like, I don't.
That
So,
being said, Pedro Pascal is just completely hamming it up, and he's part of the league of good actors who give one bad shit insane performance.
Okay,
There you
guys.
go.
But what's the cost?
guys, I'm gonna point out quite possibly the biggest plot hole here. So keep in mind, he's reaching out to everyone, and I do mean everyone on the Earth. So the Earth as a whole is going to crap here. Let me point out the biggest plot hole thing. You're telling me that of the billions of people on Earth who could have made a wish, not one single one wished for world peace. That would have probably have solved this whole thing.
Because humans are inherently selfish and evil and
Again, no one made a wish for world peace. Not a single person. I don't
Not
care.
just that, Jova. Let's go on an even more direct level. Imagine someone who wanted to see a football game, a football soccer game, saw this asshole barging in and instead wished for him to fuck off.
Yes,
What would have
sure.
happened?
That's a
Yes.
good question, honestly. Like, do some wishes cancel others out?
Again, the movie doesn't explore this and just opts for generic
Oh,
chaotic statements.
goody. And this is the part where Dead's described as, I kid you not, Shiroi, a Biden speech.
Yes. Now, Shiroi, guess what? He's the Donald stand-in. She's the Biden stand-in.
Well, it's like I said, this movie might as well have been called 2020 in a nutshell. I mean, just as much chaos is going on. Hallelujah!
Also from this perspective, it looks like Diana's looking at the audience.
No, not yet. It's not yet. She will look at the audience in a moment. There you go, Shiroi. That's the moral of the story. The truth is beautiful, and you should embrace it.
Why?
So if I say to someone that it's half past 1 instead of 1 and 32 minutes, I'm technically breaking this.
Yes.
Sorry, you want to be pedantic, Diana? I'm responding in kind.
Not only that,
But Diana, what if someone wished not to have a horrible disease?
oh,
This scenery is so delicious, Diana. Don't you want to taste something? Here,
okay.
taste some. It's
don't you-
delicious.
Yeah,
but don't you
Okay,
see, Pedro?
serious.
You cannot chew the scenery too much, but it's just an abuse of it. You should know
Too
better
much,
than
too much scenery chewing is dangerous.
okay, no, Diana.
How?
Diana, this is a serious question. What if,
Oh, here
someone,
you go. Now she's looking at us, Dwebs. See?
what if someone didn't? What if someone wished to be rid of their disease or something?
Yeah, that's also true.
She even said, "I'm talking to everybody else." No, she's literally talking to us, and she even have Gal Gadot look at the camera.
I have
Again,
a personal answer to that, Weebs. It's called "Get the hell off my back."
again, this is the problem, really.
There we go.
There is no nuance here. It doesn't seem to realize that maybe some people may be making wishes for legit good reasons.
Stop looking at me.
Now, okay. To be fair, though, like Tio mentioned, Wonder Woman actually reaching, and oh, by the way, Pedro Pascal's backstory in this movie, Shiroi.
Yeah. For the record,
At the very
Shiri,
end.
the original comic book counterpart is 100% American, but instead we made him son of Italian immigrants,
And look
and
at
of course,
that. Yeah.
abusive father.
So here's a weird thing. They kinda are sorta gonna redeem Maxwell Lord.
No, out of nowhere, the movie says, "Oh, don't you just see? He not only he has a son, but he had such a troubled upbringing. Don't you know?"
What do you think, Shiroi?
I think I'm done.
No,
The
Shiroi.
movie's
there's still
almost
more.
here. Don't worry.
But look at how much upbeat he was and how it started with just a single office.
Again,
The
it's great.
only,
Like I said-
Shiroi, Wonder Woman is asking you if you see the truth. Do you see the truth, Shiroi?
all I know is that there's cake I'm gonna be eating after this, so let's just get this shit over
But
with.
Shiroi,
so I can
Shiroi,
cook
you
the cake.
can't. You need to get. You need to get to the
Wish
truth, and as you know, the cake is a lie.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
Sorry, Shiri, renounce your wish for cake.
Shiroi, you have to announce your wish for cake.
You have to,
I didn't
Shiroi.
wish for anything, so give me the cake.
You have to renounce it, Shiroi. Otherwise, the world
I
will
didn't
be
wish for
doomed.
anything.
You have
But
to
yeah,
let
here's
the
the
cake
thing.
go,
Here's
Shiroi.
the
The
thing,
cake
Sam.
is a
Here's the thing
lie.
that what Joel was talking about. Again, the thing is that Maxwell Lord is about to renounce his wish, or if he's thinking about now. Oh, yeah, and the entire reason why he's compelled to do so is not just because Wonder Woman convinced him with the touch of a lasso, but because he cares about his son.
Now,
Again, this is such sloppy writing.
here's the problem,
Yeah.
though. Like Tio mentioned earlier, this is sorta, kinda, possibly better than what happened in Countdown to...
Like I said, in Countdown to
Infinite.
Infinite Crisis, the only way to stop Maxwell Lord apparently was to just snap his neck.
Now
This
again,
is-
now again, to be fair, it was legit showing that the situation was becoming that bad, and there have been actually a lot of good stories based off of that with
But
helping
the
Wonder
problem
Woman
is
springboard above
that
that.
if that was the case, Jova, Diana should have not been, and the Amazon should have not been punished the way they got.
No, they really shouldn't have for that. That was the issue here. Whereas here, I will admit, Wonder Woman actually managing to talk Maxwell
go.
Lord into renouncing his
these-
wish, that's actually
and-
kind of an interesting outcome here, which does make me wonder if this was Jeff Johns trying to make up for times, especially since from this point on, apparently Maxwell Lord is a good guy.
And there you go. This
Oh.
causes a chain reaction that has everyone renouncing their wish, and as a result, essentially the war will return at the state that it was before Maxwell Lord took,
That's
before everyone
a bad
started.
ending.
That's the
That's the thing, Shiri. Again, these essentially will conveniently reset the world as if nothing ever happened, which is why this is never referenced in future movies.
Well, that's the thing, though, Tio. They never say clearly that this never happened, and let's not forget...
The behavior of the people basically says otherwise, Jova.
Well, that's the thing, though, Tio. We still see the place all wrecked, so it's impossible for that to not have happened.
Don't worry, Jova. LexCorp will take care of that.
Also, that doesn't change what Diane and Steve did. So, you know.
Oh, sure. It gets better. But, again, I'll just leave you to wait and see. And
Also, this.
also,
this
Barbara's
scene-
back to normal.
That seems cut like one of those generic "be a better person" adverts.
And by the way, Shiri, that's the last we see of Barbara. Patty Jenkins did confirm that they left the situation ambiguous with her, and I can see why. But gotta be honest, they could have invested the post-credit scene into showcasing the fact that she's kind of Black Manta. She now has a vengeance against her counterpart.
Okay. Now, see here, everything is still wrecked, so there's no way it didn't happen.
Maybe it's still in the process, Jova. Remember, it's not like happening all at the same time.
They never show it completely
Hey, how
fix
convenient,
itself.
the sun is just there.
And now Max Award is a good guy, so here's what I wonder. Are they maybe trying to set up for Max Award coming back in, like, the present and, helping fund the Justice League like he did originally before Jeff Johns made him a bad guy?
I really wonder. Gotta be honest.
Chiroy.
Well, Tio, would you say that that's quite a monkey's paw? A more accurate representation of Max Award, but at the cost of having to go for this movie first.
Here's my question. So, if Maxwell Lord did not have a son, would he actually have seen the light despite being tied to Wandy's lasso?
Yeah, they probably would have had that Wonder Woman's lasso.
Anyway, he finally told his son the truth. I'm a loser. I'm not the great guy. And I made terrible mistakes and all blah 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 blah.
So here's the interesting thing, Sheree. He started off as a Donald Trump XP that we were supposed to hate, but now he's a reform guy that we're supposed to like. Despite the fact that his actions may very well have killed so many people, endangered
And
destroyed
destroyed
across
the
the
entire
entire
world.
globe here and there. But it's okay, he renounced his wish. He's a good guy. No jail time for him.
This movie is actually stressful.
Have I mentioned that Wonder Woman's kind of a sucky hero in this movie? She doesn't arrest people who need to be arrested. Or, I don't know, turn more people over to the cops. Like, okay, there were
That's how this movie works. You don't arrest people. You either kill them, like Barbara did, or you, let them go. Apparently there's between.
Hey,
Diana!
Diana, remember those other bad guys from the mall who you dropped off for the police to get? Why didn't you do that with Barbara or,
Oh boy, hold on, it's time for the ultimate confirmation. So, by the way, this is a Christmas movie now.
Yay!
Well, it came out around Christmas.
Wondered.
Merry Christmas, everybody!
Boy, hey!
Humbug.
Boy,
Yeah.
hey! Boy, Dwibs, that was a very weird September we had where the world went crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah,
And-
but things are back to normal now.
Yeah.
And by the way, take a while.
Oh, there it is. There's Handsome Man.
Handsome man, how you doing?
Oh,
Handsome man, lives his life in a garbage can.
Seriously, he looks like the...
I feel bad for this guy.
Everyone does,
You and a
Shiri.
lot of people. Seriously, he looks like a fusion between James Marsden and Jim Carrey. It's so uncanny.
He didn't deserve any of this.
He didn't.
Don't you mean so
But yeah.
hairy?
That's the thing, Shiroy. We don't know. We don't know who this guy even is. For all we know, maybe he did, but we don't know.
But there you go. There's your ultimate confirmation. Handsome Man has no memory of the fact and doesn't know who Diana is.
How did he even get here safely in the first place?
He lived. Like, oh god, can you imagine how much worse it would have been if we didn't know if he lived or not? For all we knew, he could have died.
So yeah, the entire thing could have potentially been savaged if at the very least, well, not even savaged, but at the very least slightly recuperated if Handsome Man admitted that he knew the situation and was okay with it in some fashion. But no, they don't even do that. So, fuck off.
So the movie is left with the very terrible, terrible implications.
Yeah, just a last reminder of, how unnecessarily complicated stuff can ruin a product.
And
And as you said multiple times, it would have been very easily fixed, and they just didn't do it.
for the record, Sherry, none of the world-shattering events that have happened in this story ever at any point get even mentioned or referenced in the movies that take place after this chronologically. So major, good job, Walter. You do such a great job with this cinematic universe thing. And I get that she doesn't like those. Well, if you don't like it, just get rid of it. Why are you still making movies like these then?
I just want to mention also, Patty Jenkins said regarding the original movie that the ending was not how she wanted it to be. She did not want it to be some big, blown-over CGI battle, which the first movie
in the dark
ended up having.
Which is exactly what happens here.
Well, I mean, technically, that's the penultimate battle. The final battle is all hell breaking loose and Pedro Pascal.
Okay, there is a mid or post credit scene. I forgot which specific it is, so stay tuned. In the meantime, final thoughts. Do you mind if I start first?
Before we get, before we do the final thoughts, I still had to explain this though.
What?
Go on.
Well, okay. Actually, as long as you can be quick, by all means, because we're still gonna get that scene anyway.
No, go ahead.
Well, that's the thing. The scene is gonna come up in a couple.
Also, Donkey Kong Geek. There was a guy called Donkey Kong Geek.
Yes, Donkey Kong worked in this movie. Why not?
They had to pay royalties to Nintendo for this.
Well, that's the thing too. 80s, so of course we got to reference the NES. That was like the one console
or
in
arcade.
America in the 80s. So, yeah, true. Well, there were arcades aside from Nintendo's arcades. To be fair.
No, oh, here we go.
There you go. See, that's why I didn't want to start immediately. There you go. So, Shiro, come on, guess who that is. Oh, and now all of a sudden she has an African hand. I put this to show this in the movie. I'm an African stunt double.
My guess, yeah, but kind of weird they didn't edit that out. Hey, Linda Carter.
So yeah, sure. We wasted the post-credit scene to a rather cool cameo, but it's still a waste nonetheless.
Okay.
You know who Linda Carter is, Shiro?
I don't know.
She's
Linda
Wonder
Carter,
Woman.
She's the original Wonder Woman.
Live action.
She was the first one to portray Wonder Woman in live action in the 80s show.
And she's supposed to be Asteria.
Yeah, basically, it turns out Asteria survived that climatic battle, and they seem to suggest that she'll return for the sequel.
So there you go, Shiro. That's like the one cool thing this movie did.
Is that it?
Yeah, you can go home now.
Yeah, you can go home now. Oh wait, we forgot to make sense of anything. Well, it kept you
no ticket refunds.
Well, unless you watch this on a streaming service.
Yeah, actually, that's a thing that I might as well mention. In hindsight, it's more hilarious, even though it shouldn't have been. When Warner Bros. Announced the idea of having to arrive this movie on HBO Max, they made this poster about Wonder Woman arrives on, I think it was Christmas Day, on HBO Max. Someone made an edit to replace HBO Max with The Pirate Bay. That was hilarious to me.
Oh, by the way, just want to remind you, this movie came out on streaming the same day Soul did.
Guess which movie was
it's a Soul
better.
versus Soulless comparison.
Basically, yeah. So, basically, everybody, Patty Jenkins did answer the criticisms. Well, not directly. Instead, there was someone who made an entire essay defending the body swap thing, and Patty Jenkins retweeted that essay by saying, and I quote, and I just sent a tweet for everybody to see on the group to see, and I quote her, "Ha ha ha, exactly." Seriously, that reply reads more like a, yes, of course, that's totally what I was trying to do. But anyway, for the actual essay itself, basically, Shiro, he has like, this guy, his name is Dustin, so I'm assuming it's a guy, has like a 4-page essay, don't worry, I can just skim through it, talking about why this is fine, and I'm right now skimming through it. Basically, it says that Patty Jenkins was playing with the body swap trope for the 80s, which was a common thing that happened in 80s movies. And the whole point was to point out the problematic nature of body swap movies. And then you need to re-examine, basically making you re-examine that trope and blah, blah, And he even references a movie in the 80s called Big with Tom Hanks that did something like this. Let's just say Shiroi, I'm not going to get into the specifics of it because it will take too long, but let's just say Big didn't do it like this. Let's just say the way Big did it was far less problematic in comparison. Anyway, the movie implies that if you revoke your wish, then much of the impact of your wish is revoked. Hence, even the sex Diana had with the guy possessed with Steve may have located from the movie's fabric of reality.
So
I'm not done, but go ahead, Joe.
Does that mean that the semen just reverses its way out then? Hey, look, Tio. They say that it does it. So
I'm not judging your decision, Jova. Go all ahead for me.
Tio, they made the implications with that.
Jova, like I said, I'm 100% honest. Go ahead. I'm not judging you.
To talk about this. Go ahead, Jova.
So Pedro, does this mean that the semen just works its way out and evaporates into nothingness? Does the lactation suddenly just dribble away and go back into the breasts here and there?
Well, Jova,
seriously, how do you undo sex? How do you undo sex?
This movie needed.
Brief, Shiroi.
Okay.
Well, if it's gonna, here's the thing. Okay, sure. Do you want to say something, or should I respond to Jova?
Very, very quickly. Just one thing. We talk in a lot of these commentaries that movies don't really need to over-explain things to the audience. We're not stupid. This movie could have done with a lot more explaining of what's going on.
It could have.
Holy shit! Without the constant explanations, this is just terrible. Carry on.
It could. As for Jova, basically Jova, if you're just speaking strictly when it comes to the sperm itself, well, maybe we can assume that they use the condom.
It flies up in little.
So then I ask. Okay.
Dust in the wind.
So here's my last question then. Okay, all joking aside, what undoes the sex or something? Like, what seriously undoes the sex? Like, she still remembers that she had that sex. So what undoes it? If again, if they didn't use condoms, then I guess that means that retracts all the bodily liquids or something, because again, how does it undo it if she remembers it? This isn't like time travel or something. It's not like the stuff never happened.
I don't know what to tell you. But here's the thing, Tio, this is why I wanted to address things, because this addresses one of the things that you said earlier. Third page of the addendum of the essay. In the film, our main character Diana is seduced by a nefarious dreamstone unleashed by a god of lies into a deception/problematic relationship. So there you go. According to this guy, the dreamstone tricked Diana into this.
Fine. At the cost of sounding blasphemous, let me answer basically the same thing that God said when Eve told about the serpent. It's still your fault, so all of you get punished.
Sure. Continuing though. Wherein her dead lover it brought back the body of another man, blah, blah, blah. At one point, it's even implied that she sleeps with him, blah, blah, blah. The movie itself is saying it's problematic. My argument is that it's a depiction, not an endorsement of a problematic relationship. That's basically what he's trying to argue. Basically, he's saying that the movie is portrays it as problematic, and that's why it needs to be reversed and removed from reality altogether. And why she needs to renounce the wish. That's his argument, basically.
Well, here's the simple thing. Even if it is, and let me give you the benefit of the doubt. Even if it is, it's poorly portrayed, poorly presented.
Yeah.
Yes.
And none of these actually gets answered. They're just assuming that the movie is just perfect in its showcasing, and we should be just okay with it.
Mm-hmm. Not even just that, Theo. My argument, I can give a very simple argument. Okay, even if I'm going to take your argument as the actual thing, no, I still refuse to believe that Wonder Woman would need to learn that raping a guy is wrong. Wonder Woman, by this point, should know that.
I guess she had the whole naive and didn't know how the world works thing in the first Wonder Woman movie, but yeah.
She had plenty of time to learn this. So no, sorry. If this took place in the first movie, maybe you might have a point, but no.
I'd argue against that because I'm pretty sure she was like, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure she was openly angry about how the men were towards her anyway. So it's like,
Well, she was more mad about how they treated her because, a woman is speaking out of turn here.
yeah, exactly. It's like you'd think she'd get like, this kind of stuff is really bad, but 60 years and she learned absolutely nothing.
It's an interesting thing. I love this one in the replies real quick. There is also an assumption that they had sex by those shooting it down. There is nothing in the story or visuals that implies they did. Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh yeah,
that
because
scene was very explicitly a post-sex scene. Like, it's...
I mean,
Like, did you need a drawing? Did you need Steve to smoke a cigarette?
Wait.
We
Hold
need
on.
to draw them a diagram of stick figures to explain.
Okay, seriously. All that was missing was the cigarette smoking. I mean, what do you think
Exactly.
Okay, seriously. What does that person think they did? Played patty cake and they really enjoyed the game that much?
Is that what happened in Roger Rabbit, if I recall correctly?
Yes.
Even better, Jobas. And she writes, someone responds to this and says, regardless, even if Diana rescinded her wish, she still knowingly used the man's body, blah, 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 without consent. And this guy replies, actually, I think it's showing that Diana had a moment of weakness. That adds to the complexity of her character's makeup. She ultimately...
The movie shows it in a positive light.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, I would believe that if the movie actually showed it, but no, they don't.
Alright, so...
yeah, final thoughts, because this has already gone too long anyway.
Since you need to... Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Damn, we'll talk about a massive step down in quality from a previous movie. Especially since people from the previous movie came back for this one.
It's a step in quality down from Wonder Woman, and it's... I can't believe I'm saying this. It's arguably a step down from the previous DC Cinematic Universe movie, Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey.
Which had already lowered the bar.
Yeah, I mean, that film was hardly a paragon quality in the first place. But at least I had, like, 2 characters that were maybe decent.
Again, Dwibs, Harley Quinn has moral high ground over Diana in regards to how she treats men.
Think
a villain.
Think about that for a moment.
Yeah, I don't think even Frank Miller would write like that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. He hasn't actually done it, but I wouldn't put it past him personally.
Well, that's the thing, though. That the first part of your sentence was the thing. Is the catalyst. He hasn't.
Yeah, that's the thing, Pedro. Dwib brings up a good point.
I think there might be an extra story that is similar more to that.
That's Elektra, not Woman.
Fine, Dwibs, but similar situation. Come
on. Okay, to be fair to you, Elektra does a lot more racy stuff than Wonder Woman does. Like, Dwibs does have a point, though. The fact that they've treaded ground where even Frank Miller hasn't gone with Wonder Woman, and trust me, he has gone a lot of unpleasant places with Wonder Woman, does speak volumes.
Fine, gone.
And, everything about this movie seems to have been taking a step backwards from the previous one. Wonder Woman, who was once a paragon of justice, but just needed to learn that some things aren't black and white, has turned into a whiny, rapey, weird woman who is completely selfish, has kind of regressed in 60 years, 70, and is... I mean, seriously? Not to mention she's completely reckless. Like, she drops criminals onto cars and should have killed them, among other things. Leaving guys to die in the desert. But don't worry, I gave her money. What's he gonna do with it, though? Drink it? I don't know. Steve is no better in that regard. Maxwell Lord... I mean, Pedro Pascal does give a wonderfully hammy performance as him, but that's the thing, though. I mean, when I went into watching this movie directed by the same person that did the previous one, the one thing I did not expect was a performance worthy of joining the League. That's something the Wachowski's directed movie would do. The effects have also gone pretty downhill as well. Not cats and the golden armor.
I see your point, Dwebs, but at the same time, here, hold my hands. What do you wish for, Dwebs? What do you wish for?
To be done
The
with
most
this
in all the
movie.
world.
To be
That
done
can
with
be
this
done.
movie.
That can be done. Carry on.
Yeah.
However, Dwebs,
Backwards.
there is a price to pay. One strand of your hair will fall from your head.
Well, that happens anyway.
Just
Well,
take it.
you'll have one more than the usual today.
Oh,
How nice. I mean, some of the other effects are a bit dodgy as well, like Wonder Woman running, among other things. Cheetah was just kind of there for the most part, except near the end where she becomes a cast reject. The plot is just completely convoluted. I mean, it doesn't even really need to be. All the stupid bells and whistles it takes to try and justify being 2.5 hours. Again, I'm not too opposed to long movies as long as there's a point. And this doesn't really have much of one, other than
The truth is
wishing
beautiful.
bad.
Cheating is bad, more like, but yeah.
Yeah.
Cheaters never prosper.
Also, apologies if you were a person who wished for their or their loved one's illness to go away because apparently being.
Totally.
seriously.
Yeah.
I don't think they fall.
No, they
Don't
didn't.
you see? Any wish is cheating, even if it's wishing for world peace, wishing for better money for people, wishing for better health.
Feeding the
or
hunger.
anything.
Hey! What if a wish was for Wonder Woman to win the battle?
What battle?
The one at the end,
Dreams, we don't know if she exists.
well, yeah, but they should do now.
They
Which is all
should.
over the news.
But it's okay because
Because
Because the
because.
world forgot about everything.
Yeah, the world just magically somehow forgot about her. And no, I'm not buying that the world forgot about literally the world ending. Like, come on.
well, that's kind of what happens if you take the. If that's kind of what happens. Okay, well, basically, I was talking with Pedro off commentary earlier about something. This is important. I should repeat it here. You know how in some circles, one criticism of since they're both cinematic universes, you know how one criticism of the MCU is that they dilute directors so much to the point where you can barely tell any film apart from the other. They all feel the same, supposedly.
Yeah, what about
Personally,
it?
I disagree with that, but go ahead. Yes. I'm only adding. Go ahead.
This movie's the exact opposite approach. You just allow them to do whatever, and as a result, create a convoluted mess.
Again, much like Tim Burton with Batman Returns. When that happened, Batman killed people. When it happened here, Wonder Woman raped someone.
No, to be fair,
Fucking-
that also happens in the '89 movie. But the point is, Dwebs. Okay, let me add to what you said, Dwebs, because I can give you specific examples. The reason Edgar Wright got fired from Ant-Man was because of creative differences. That might have been, who knows, for all we know. In fact, here's another thing. The reason Ava DuVernay got replaced with Ryan Coogler for Black Panther was once again creative differences.
I keep forgetting that she was originally in charge of Black Panther.
Maybe for all we don't know what exactly happened. But so for all we know, maybe Ava and Edgar would have made better movies of those two. Who knows? We don't know.
What I do know is that thanks to Ryan Coogler, we got an amazing movie.
And I personally really like Ant-Man. So I'm not exactly gonna, lose my sleep over what we could have gotten with Edgar Wright. Especially because I'm not a fan of Edgar Wright, so personally I'm glad he didn't, get his movie made, because I don't really think he's a very good filmmaker. I know heresy, but whatever. Carry on.
And anything else I might have missed?
The music, do you like Hans Zimmer's score or not?
I wouldn't say it's one of Hans Zimmer's best scores or anything, but compared to some of his other superhero film work, especially recently, where we had either Dark Phoenix, which is just a droning bore of a soundtrack, or Amazing Spider-Man 2, which is nothing but throughout almost all the movie. This is a blessed relief.
Yeah. This is a really good score. I really like it. It was a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
So, oh yeah, another thing, the 80s theme, like, other than the first act, it doesn't really feel very 80s, does it? Like, you could have set this in any time period, and it wouldn't have made a difference.
Nah.
How you could have set this film tomorrow, and it would be the same thing,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
or yesterday even. But anyway, yeah, that's about it from me. This film sucks, and I really hope Patty Jenkins realizes what she is capable of and what she isn't capable of, and just stick to what she is good at. Because otherwise, that Star Wars movie, oh boy,
Wait, she's in charge of a Star Wars
Yeah,
movie?
she's writing something Star Wars related.
she's writing. I think she's at least directing a Star Wars Rogue Squadron movie. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, yeah.
Let me see.
Patty, you've got a lot of potential. Just stick to what you're good at,
Mm-hmm.
please.
Alright. This is just terrible. Like I said, like Griff said, a step down in quality for everything, the DCU and Wonder Woman in general. I know that the first movie has a lot of people that don't really like it. And as much as I disagree with them, I can see some of the points they can make for them not liking personally, This one, on the other hand, there are so many things wrong with it. Let's take aside for a second the horrible implications about the elephant in the room here. As a movie on its own, the plot is way too simplistic. The scope is minimal when you get down to it, despite the grandiose of the chaos enveloping the entire world. The characters are not compelling at all. I'm sorry. Pedro Pascal can have the scene 24/7, but as long as he pretends to be Maxwell Lord, it's gonna be peace off for me. So I'm sorry, that just doesn't work. And Cheetah, she's just wasted. The score is salvageable. The fight scene, most of the time, aside from the CGI. The rest I pretty much said in Deji's recap, so check that too. This is just horrible. I'm not giving up on DCU because of this. I do have enough faith, in the Suicide Squad. So we'll see how that turns out. But this and Birds of Prey had just been two very, very horrible step backward, after Shazam and Aquaman, and that's kind of sad considering how it seemed like the DCU was finally getting out of the swamp zone. But alas, we'll see what the future holds. Next.
Sure.
Well, I mean, you can tell I hate this movie.
Oh, do tell.
I think I've told plenty. I mean,
But Shiroi, what else is there to wish for but more?
that I didn't waste 2.5 hours of my life, and that I could get cake right now, but I can't. I gotta keep talking.
Shiroi, the cake is a lie, and the truth is beautiful.
No, it's
I
not.
did it before it was
I've seen
cool,
the cake. I
Jojo.
know it exists. But okay, I mean, there's our protagonist. Well, both of them. Not even again. They're both complicit in raping this poor guy. And again, Tio brought up very simple solutions to it, and also they could have just not painted it in a good light in general, but it's like we were supposed to see it as romantic, whereas this did not have the audience reaction that any of the people involved probably thought it would.
So what you're saying, Shiroi, you approve and probably would join the Justice for Handsome Man movement.
I mean, like he's like he's probably the person I feel sorry for the most in this whole movie.
I'm not kidding, by the way. There's
Yeah.
actually a hashtag right now of justice for handsome men.
Oh my god. I'll have to look into that, dare I. But anyway, and then after all that, she just leaves him in a war zone.
Thank God he survived.
But it's okay, because he doesn't remember.
Yeah.
Screw this
So-
movie.
Yeah.
The music is at least good. The fighting is also good. But, like I said earlier, the stuff that is bad is so disproportionately bad that, like, I wouldn't even go back to this to, sit through the parts I do enjoy. It's not worth it. It's just, this movie is so frustrating. The tone is also all over the place because you have the very cartoonishly evil president at the end. I wish the whole movie was that ridiculous. I know I said that earlier, but
Yeah.
yeah, it would have been nice if the whole movie was just this silly.
Yep.
And the undoing of the wishes thing, as we've already discussed about the sexual aspect of it, you know what?
No. By all means, if you have something else to add.
Well, again, this movie could have just done with a lot more explaining. Again, something we complain about movies doing too much of. This
Yeah,
movie,
there's some-
no, please explain away, movie, please. We're begging you, please.
Yeah.
There's someone here who also asks this on the thread that I'm watching. Or even better, Shiro, there's this guy also who also says something that I perfectly agree. Who the hell thought, yeah, that's what we need to make Wonder Woman a more complex character. Give her this flaw, of all things.
It's kind of like with George Wood's desire for Tomb Raider 3 to be Lara having breast cancer got through.
Oh God. Yeah.
But yeah, I just can't even enjoy this movie for the good parts. It's not worth it. This is a terrible, terrible movie, and it sucks because I did like the first one, and the whole this isn't a sequel thing just is also stupid. But whatever. We're done, I think. Yes.
That's no, go ahead, sorry.
No, that's it. Who's next?
Pedro.
Okay. Okay, so after this, am I allowed to demand that Patty Jenkins gets fired from the DCU and from movies in general? Because, like I said before, I'm sorry, but I have to reemphasize this. If the genders on this whole affair were reversed, the director would have been fired on the spot. So why the hell is Patty Jenkins directing Wonder Woman 3 still?
Wait. Is it confirmed that she's
Wait, she is?
directing that?
Yeah, she said that.
It is.
Oh my god.
Well, hopefully.
Well, okay. Well, she's confirmed to be directing it, but we don't know if she's gonna be writing it.
Nor
Okay,
if
alright.
she's stealing 100% in control.
But that's the thing, Shirai. Even then, like I said, shouldn't we, apply the same standard? Because if it was the other way around, the director would have been fired on the spot. Why isn't Patty being immediately banished and forbidden from working in Hollywood ever again? Or canceled if I'm going to say it, basically. Why isn't Patty being canceled exactly? Because I can't help but feel that if the genders were reversed, if it was a male director doing a thing where a woman gets raped has sex without consent in this very thing, call me paranoid, but I don't know. I think that director probably would have been canceled by this point. Just saying. So why exactly is Patty allowed to get off scot-free from all this crap?
I mean,
Yeah,
there was outrage about it, so I don't.
Shirai, are you honestly telling me that this is comparable to what we've seen with other cases where the genders are indeed reversed in relation to this one?
Oh, I didn't
honestly-
say that.
That's the thing, Shirai. Okay, there's some outrage on the internet, but nothing is coming of it. That's
Yeah,
the thing.
exactly. That's the problem. I'm
More
not.
news at 11.
Yeah.
No, but that's the thing, Shirai. Like, there's not enough of it. That's the thing that I'm saying. Like even by because
Again, it's the whole thing I mentioned earlier about people's wording saying it was technically rape, and it's like, no, there's nothing technical about it. It's.
Well, anyway, the basic to get to the movie itself. The movie is a complete fucking mess of structure. It makes no sense. It cannot decide what tone it wants to go for. It starts off as a kind of a somewhat believable sequel in terms of tone with the prologue bit. Then suddenly it becomes a Richard Donner movie. Then it suddenly becomes Amazing Spider-Man 2. Then it suddenly becomes
Final Fantasy 13.
I guess we'll go with that. After that, it becomes I don't even know what the fuck that was supposed to be, but
every
whatever.
Generic disaster film or whatnot. I don't know.
And then at the very end, it becomes a Joe Biden speech. So I don't even understand what the fuck. Like seriously, why exactly are we bringing Donald Trump into this exactly? It really feels like, okay, you want to tell a story about truth. How does that connect to Donald Trump and shit?
Because he lies a lot?
I guess, but at the same time, it just feels so tacked on. Whatever. The point is, this movie makes no sense. The plot is a mess. The music is great. Just that. And the action scenes are fun. And visually, it looks good. So, there's that. And allow me to also, before I finish, let me carry on from my previous thoughts from Birds of Prey as well. Because, this is, of course, a much worse movie. And I even said this, like, there are DCU movies that are far worse than Birds of Prey. The only reason I really hate Birds of Prey more is because of personal reasons, not so much because I genuinely believe it's a worse movie. It's more so because this movie, I can have fun laughing at it. Don't get me wrong. I mean, no way trying to say that I find the body swap thing fun. I think I've made that clear. But at the same time, I can laugh at a lot of aspects in this movie, which is more than I can say for this. Because Birds of Prey, at best, is kind of just boring me. Because I didn't even find most of the jokes even funny in that movie. I mean, it really is one of those things where it's a much worse movie, but I can get some sick enjoyment out of this mess. So I guess that's the best way I can put it. Again, guilty pleasures are just something are just completely inexplainable.
Yeah.
So take that for what you will. So yeah, this movie is absolutely god awful. And yeah, like I said, I don't really want Patty Jenkins to work on another Wonder Woman movie after this. I don't want her working on anything. Period. From my perspective, this is just something that should have. But whatever. The point is, this movie's terrible, and it's been panned for a reason. So stop defending it. Jova, finish us off.
Okay. Like I've just said before, my main first thing that comes to mind with this movie is just disappointment. Oh, don't get me wrong. When Phaedra first showed this to me, it felt like a roller coaster ride, honestly. You know what? At first I thought, it was bad, but at least I can come back and enjoy it overall. Now even that's debatable. I've come to realize that I enjoy Birds of Prey more than this movie. And don't get me wrong, we mentioned the issues with Birds of Prey in our own commentary, but Birds of Prey feels like it can actually be a fun to decent movie without making me feel sick to my stomach the more I think about aspects. Here's the problem with this movie. Birds of Prey, at the very least, does have that tongue-in-cheek value that does give it a bit of a flotation device. And that movie even has the excuse that executive manhandling really messed it up here. This one, on the other hand, this was apparently all the vision. And oh boy, that vision is perverted and creepy overall. People have pretty much already covered the obvious stuff here, but I will touch base on this. So, why does the movie feel the need to overcomplicate stuff without explaining it well enough? It's like I mentioned in the quote earlier. It's someone who is technically intelligent, yes, but persists in their own lunacy. In this case, they're literally going to the beat of their own drum without giving a damn of how much it's going to confuse the average moviegoer here and there. Maxwell Lord, like I said before, is a decent character in and of himself here, but he is not Maxwell Lord here. And even if I do find him a decent character, I still think it's BS that he doesn't get any serious punishment for nearly causing the end of the world. I don't care what sort of golden filter you give of him running arms open to a sun movie, he's still done a bad. And that's another thing about this movie. For a movie that supposedly is trying to be all mature and whatnot, the morality feels very black and white here. It's like, oh, you're either a saint or you're a horrible, terrible person here and there. And hey, apparently all the wishes made were completely selfish except for that of one boy who got manipulated by his dad to give us his greatness. I still don't get what that wish was even supposed to mean.
Hey, Jova.
What?
Allow me to remind you what movie came out on streaming on the competing streaming platform in the same day that this movie.
Soul.
I actually mentioned it. Soul.
Oh, okay, sorry.
You know, I do believe coming out the same day as Soul, though, did not do this movie any favors. Soul, in contrast, takes on very adult themes in very nuanced ways. Whereas this movie, well, again, it feels very black and white. Again, nobody wished for world peace. Nobody made a selfless wish. And apparently selfless wishes are still selfish because you're cheating. And how dare you take advantage of anything for any reason whatsoever? Hey, Mr. Bum, you should enjoy your life as it is. No need to wish for job security or health insurance.
Naive, it's childish, and it's dangerous as a result.
It really, really is here and there. And you know what's so weird is it feels like a lot of these concepts were gift-wrapped for them to easily do something right with it. Like, it seemed obvious that if you're gonna have Steve be in a different man's body, have that be the price and the implications. But nope, it's just, oh, Diana's losing her strength. Which probably would have worked better if it was actually Steve here. Yeah, seriously, so many problems with the movie would have been solved if it had just been Steve or a new body made for Steve. Why'd they have to go to this whole, oh, he's infiltrating another guy's stuff here and thing? To make it more complex? You know, I get that complexity can help a story. But you shouldn't just try to be complex for complexity's sake, otherwise you tend to end up with a mess. Especially since, like I said, for a movie that likes to try to act all overcomplicated, they don't really explain stuff that well. Now as for stuff that worked, the music, the score, the acting is good. Definitely. Like, the script may be terrible, but the actors are definitely hammering in and giving it their all here and there. Action scenes, pretty good. It is nice how they use Diana having to come up with creative solutions using her lip here and there. I also do like the costumes here and there. The CGI is weirdly off and on here. Like, I don't know, maybe they couldn't perfect the CGI as much due to COVID or whatnot, but, like, it is very, very iffy. Now that said, when the movie is just going incredibly insane, it works. Like Shuri mentioned, it actually is a fun bout of insanity when it's going insane, right down to the particle beam global satellite technology here and there. The problem is that what dominates this movie's tone is more of a darker tone, weirdly enough. Yeah, the 80s mentality thing kind of goes away, and it doesn't feel like it uses enough with his 80s film to have been all about the 80s and all that. Again, unless maybe they're going to use this film to show that, oh, Maxwell Lord becomes a good guy like how he originally was in the comics and then funds the Justice League in the future or whatnot. But overall, okay, I've gone from saying, oh, this would be a movie that I'd watch just for fun because of how bad it is to, honestly, not even that. I feel like Birds of Prey now holds that title more better here. This movie is just sad in hindsight. I get, and yes, there are good scenes here and there, but overall, I could probably just watch the good parts in like a YouTube highlights reel, essentially.
Yeah, it's kind of like how I made myself a little highlight reel of every time that Eddie is from Justice. Aside from Jupiter Ascending is on screen because he's the only good part where he's hamming it up. So those are the only good parts. That's basically what we should do. Just make a mix with all with the action scenes and the moments where Pedro Pascal is hamming it up. There you go.
Again, it's such a shame. As for Cheetah, maybe they're gonna do something with her, but can I just say this? At the very least, it should have been a substantial role as Black Manta and Aquaman got. Black Manta was a character established from the get-go here and there, and had several encounters as well. And, well, okay, to be fair, the fight scene between Wonder Woman and Cheetah was fine as well, but Black Manta had way more agency in the Aquaman movie than Cheetah does in this, which is a shame because they start off with an interesting relationship with Diana and Barbara. If they had actually built off of that more, it could have been an interesting tragedy with Barbara becoming Wonder Woman's greatest foe, which they may or may not be doing. They're very unclear with whatever happened to Barbara afterwards. But yeah, at the end of the day, they need to do better. Like, okay, this does not feel like something that can necessarily spell doom for the DCEU. That said, they need to do a heck of a lot better than this, because, god damn, this is one of the lowest tier of DC Cinematic Universe films. It may not be the worst one, and even still, that's debatable, but god damn, is it disappointing.
James Gunn, that's what I was thinking. There you go.
Yes, James Gunn will help out in the
Hopefully.
Suicide Squad.
Hopefully.
So, that was Wonder Woman 1984. What a wild, wild ride that was.
Tune in for a long time when the Suicide Squad will be out, I guess.
Hey, Teo, give me your hands.
Oh no.
Don't you just wish this commentary would be over too?
What is there to wish but more? More bad movie commentaries. More bad stuff to rip upon.
What's that? You want to For the Dark World commentary? Then
Oh,
your
no.
wish shall be granted.
Excuse me, I'm the Pedro here. I will grant the wish.
Okay.
Your wish is granted, Teo.
Also, Jova, you got the wrong movie. We're not in Kazan.
You see, Teo, this commentary is going to be over in a few moments. However, you have to deal with For the Dark World. That's your price.
It includes All Hail the King, so I'll take it. See ya.
Exactly. See ya.
Yeah.